Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to day 2 of USA Powerlifting Raw National Championships Masters Nationals here in Chicago, Lombard, Illinois. My name is Nick Stevens, and I'm joined by my co-host. And we will be giving you all of our coverage of the Masters National Championships Day 2 here in Chicago, Illinois, presented by A7.
Yeah, it's been a good competition so far. We've seen a lot of American records by our Masters lifters, and I'm excited to keep that rolling today.
That's right, and we're already cruising into the action here. We're going to start off our action here with squat, and then obviously go into the bench, and then into the deadlift. We've got 2 flights of action for both platforms 1 and 2 today, so both Tong and I will be giving you our coverage of both of those.
Yeah, and it'll be exciting here to watch these ladies take the platform. I think the first session of the day, the first flight of the day, they have the toughest challenge. The entire venue hasn't been woken up yet. The environment, it's not easy to settle in when you're the first ones up.
That's right. They've got to start it off. They've got to wake the venue up.
Absolutely.
And as we're watching our ladies squat this morning, we're going to be giving you as much information as we can. Both Tong and I are, referees, competitors ourselves, coaches. So we'll be giving you our best ideas to what's going on the platform. Obviously, we only have the front view here, so this is essentially the head referee's view. But we'll be giving you our best guess as to what might be happening on the platform. Should a lifter miss a lift or anything like that?
No. And in an ideal world, none of these lifters would miss any of these lifts. They'd all get white lights, but we'll definitely have to explain some of these rules and calls as we go.
That's right. We're starting off on platform 1 here. We're already a couple lifters deep on both platforms, but Helen Adams is our second lifter here, taking a nice opening squat at 55 kilos, 121 pounds. That would be 2 to 1.
Yeah, she's going to get a yellow light and a red light, so a bit of a weird combo. On the left side, the judge is going to call her for depth. So in our federation, squat depth is just defined as that hip crease being below the knee level. Now, the yellow card is what's interesting. That's the one that's a bit of a catch-all. Depending on what's happening on the platform, that can be something related to her form. And so perhaps, her feet were moving during the squat. She was making, contact with her knees, with her elbows. Or it could have just been a mistake listening to the command. So we'll have to see how she corrects that on the next attempt.
Got Debbie Noxon coming up next on platform 1, taking 176 pounds for her opening attempt. Looks very solid there. Over on platform 2, Jennifer Schaefer opening with 308 pounds. And we've got our larger, or kind of on the latter end of the body weight females today. So yesterday we got up to our 75 kilo class. So today we've got our 82.5 kilo class, 90s, 100s.
Yeah, and a lot of these women, although they are competing in the Masters division, and you might expect someone older to be a little weaker. I mean, these are some of the strongest women in the world, so it's going to be a good competition today. What I love about Masters lifting at the national level is, some of these lifters they've been lifting for decades, and others, they picked this up, within this year, right? So we're going to get a lot of range of experience, and it's all going to be expressed on the platform.
All right, we've got Alana Wright. Sorry, that was Lynette Doyle. Good lift there on platform 1, 231. Alana Wright coming up next with 112.5 kilos. That's 248 pounds. Bringing the energy up to the platform. A little dance and a shake before we get onto the bar. I always enjoy watching the different energies and the different setups that folks bring to USA Powerlifting Nationals.
Yeah, absolutely. For those at home who've never been to a powerlifting meet, these athletes get 60 seconds once the bar is loaded. I think as a coach and a competitor, I try to preach the importance of just trying to make yourself comfortable on the platform and, lifting like you're at your own gym. And we just saw there, I believe that was Sandy, or was that Alana?
That was Alana there. So she got a no lift for all 3 referees on depth.
Mm-hmm.
And so for the folks at home, if you're watching on the screen, once a lifter completes a lift, you'll see 3 little squares pop up at the very bottom. Those will either be check marks, little white check marks, or red X's. That'll obviously determine whether or not a lift was good or bad in the eyes of the referees. And if you're interested as to what made that lift good or bad, there's a little color bar underneath that. That could be either red, blue, or yellow. That can indicate any number of infractions that could have happened with the squat movement. So like you were saying, the primary one that we're looking at with squat is depth here. That's going to be a red line underneath that X. And like you're saying, we just want the hip crease to be below that top surface of the knee. If we're looking at any blue cards, we're calling them blue cards. If there's a blue bar underneath that red X, that could be for any up and downward motion, or that could be soft lockout. So that could be if the knees were not completely locked out, or if there's any double bouncing at the bottom. So say a lifter goes down to the very bottom of the squat and they almost squat again to get up out of the bottom. That's considered double bouncing. That's a blue light. And then the yellow card, like you were saying, is that catch-all for everything else, whether that be their hands moving, their feet moving, missing a command.
There you go. Yeah, and as Nick is explaining, part of the goal here in powerlifting, of course, we want to give credit to these lifters for the lifts, but we want to make sure every competitor is lifting to the same standard, and that while they're performing these lifts, they're also showing their ability to control the barbell. It's going to be a big focus for us this weekend, and especially at a national meet. Some people say it's more strict than other levels of meets, but truthfully, the goal is to make it as consistent as possible for every lifter.
That's right. And I was talking a little bit yesterday to my co-host Jenna just about the change in environment. A lot of these lifters, like you were saying, some folks have the experience and have done this a few times or have been competing for a few years. Other folks, this might be their second meet ever. Maybe they might have done a qualifier meet and then they qualified for nationals. And even just the change in environment. There's the lights, the glitz, the glamour, the speed of the warm-up room, the intensity of everything. It's a lot to not only look forward to, but it's a lot to have to expect and work around, especially for the competition like this.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't really see on this live stream, but we are in a big convention center room. And so when you're in the warm-up room, it feels very, condensed. You feel very close. But then when you step out onto the platform, you just are standing in front of the giant room. And so, it's very important to know where you are on the platform and try to just center yourself within, the confines of the platform itself.
Here's Julie Wilson on platform 1, taking 297. Opening attempt. And then Janet's coming up on platform 2, taking 330 pounds. Both lifters in our 82.5 kilo class. Julie in Masters 1, Janet in Masters 2. And for the folks at home, the transition from our open division to the Masters division happens at age 40. So Masters 1 is from ages 40 to 49, Masters 2, 50 to 59, Masters 3, 60 to 69, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, we've got
We
lifters.
have,
sorry. I was going to say, we've got lifters competing from every single age this week. We've got youth nationals coming up after this session, but yesterday, we had a pair of competitors who were 85 years old, and so, you're going to see, some of the strongest people in the world at every single, age, weight division that you can think of.
And not only that, but it's also never too late.
Oh, absolutely.
Or too early to start powerlifting. Like I was saying, there's some folks that have only been doing this for a year or so, maybe a couple years, and they're already at this stage. So there's no timeline to this at all. Brianna Green, very smooth opener there, rocking the purple A7s, but unfortunately that's going to be 2 reds from both of our side judges for depth there.
Yeah, and it can be hard to do your first squat at a meet, when you are practicing in your own training sessions. Having a good gauge and having other people hold you accountable, that can help a lot, but having that set point at a meet after your first squat, it can help a lot. And so, some of these athletes, they have great preps, they feel confident, but just a few centimeters here and there, in that first squat, it can be hard to make sure you're exactly where you want to be. And so, if you see athletes missing on these first attempts, most of these, about none of these so far have been related to strength. And so just want to make sure you're confident and staying calm and making sure you're just, making a slight adjustment and going back out there.
Here's Suzette taking her opener at 352. Very smooth. And Francesca on 1. Again, another very smooth opener there. That was 303 pounds. And that's definitely something that we want to see as we're looking through our opening attempts. We want these to be super light. One thing I always try to tell my lifters is, if it's something that if you're feeling just the absolute worst on the day, if you can hit it for 3, that's a solid opener. And we're already back up to the top of the order here on platform 2. Angie did miss her opening attempt on depth from both of the side judges, so she is going to retake 292. And that's always the smart play, to always retake that weight.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, to some of our discussion to start the show, a lot of the reason why these lifters are going to miss these opening squats is really just because of nerves. And so making sure you get the very first lift in the meet, making sure you have something on the board, it can really unlock your entire day.
Sally Goodman, unfortunately, 2 red lights for depth as well over on platform 1. Here's Angie looking to get on the board here. Looked a lot deeper than the opener, I will say that.
I agree. I think the judges will agree as well. Okay, 2-1. That's a good lift.
Still got that depth call from the side referee, and I wonder, very often, a lot of times that's just how lifters are built. That's how they lift. I know when I squat, I almost always get a red light on my right side because my right side goes down a little bit deeper.
Yeah, and again, as Nick pointed out, this front view, the broadcast view, it can give you a lot of information, but just remember that the referees have a better vantage point. They've got a different view, just to make sure we're giving the athletes the best chance possible to be judged properly. And so you might have a disagreement. It might look one way or another, but just know that part of the difference in opinion is from that vantage point.
Right. And when we're watching these lifts here, you only need 2 white lights out of the 3. So whenever you hear Tong or I say, that was a good lift, that means they got at least 2 white lights out of the 3. You only need majority rules in this sport. Helen Adams coming up on platform 1, looking to get on the board, retaking 55 kilos, 121 pounds.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see how she approaches this. She got a red light for depth and then a yellow card as well. And so I think there might have been a small sort of mental mistake, a small technical mistake that contributed to the yellow light. We'll see if anything changes here. Okay, we'll have to see what the judges think.
Looked okay to me. Was depth there? No, it was not. Technically, it looked a lot more sound. I didn't see any cause for a yellow light or a blue light there, but she's got to get just that little bit deeper if she wants to get on the board. And that unfortunately puts Helen in a pretty tough position here. If you miss your first 2 lifts in any of the 3 disciplines, squat, bench, or deadlift, that puts you at risk of disqualification, or what we would call bombing out. At that point, you're not able to post a total. You're not able to run for any placings or records or anything like that, and you are then kind of taken out of the meet because you're then not allowed to post or not able to post a total. That's definitely not something we look forward to or want to see from any of our lifters when we come to a national level competition. So let's hope that Helen's able to come back from it. She looks like she did put in 55 once again to try and get that just a little bit deeper.
Yeah, and it's important to remember, it's not a fail on strength, and so if she can just find a way to trust her body a bit, be a little bit more patient going into the bottom of the squat, I think it'll be possible for her to make sure she comes out of the squat session alive with that 55-kilo squat.
Yard Wilburn, 3 white lights. Here's Alana Wright. She's got this. Giving herself all the encouragement she needs coming up to the platform here. She did elect to go up 2.5 kilos from missing that opener on depth. Oftentimes you have that school of thought where maybe you just need a little bit more to get down there. Maybe you need gravity's help.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's see.
Yeah, that looks plenty deep, but we'll see.
I'd say that was a good lift on our end.
And the judges agree.
That's always a bold, tough situation to put yourself in whenever you miss that opener and then you decide to go up for that second attempt. What are some of the thoughts there?
I think the first thing is always experience. And so if you have squatted long enough, if you've been lifting long enough to know, hey, if it's a matter of centimeters and millimeters, I have the ability to make that change. Also, I think sometimes when you're game planning and trying to plan out your attempts for the meet, you can kind of jump around and make sure like, hey, it's not that big of a difference for me to go up in that case 2.5 kilos. It's not adding more risk, but it still tries to keep me on my game plan, assuming that I execute.
Right. Sandy Burge, easy second attempt there. At 264, 2 white lights.
It's a nice squat by Amanda as well.
We are cruising right along, folks. We're already halfway through second attempts. We go into thirds. We only have one more flight in this session. Once we get through our action for both flights of the squat, we're going to take a 10-minute break, let our platform get set up for the bench press, do the bench, and then do the whole thing all over again for deadlifts. Here's Lynette Doyle on platform 1, 264, 120 kilos.
Oh, she's fighting for it. Yeah, took a nice big jump after that opener. She's definitely rewarded for it there.
Jen Schaefer on 2, 150 kilos, 3 white lights. I always enjoy watching the different approaches that each lifter has to how they get into the bottom of the squat. You see folks that have a very slow, almost tempo descent on the way down, and then you have folks that utilize that crash and utilize the elasticity and the spring of the knee sleeves and the momentum of the weight on the bar.
A bit of a rebound at the bottom. Oh, Elizabeth is fighting for it. Yeah, it looks like she got a little forward there. We'll see if they elect to come back. I think she'll probably retake that again, but I think she's got a good chance to, make up for that miss.
Bar's getting loaded up for Brianna Green on 1, looking to retake 135. She missed her opener on depth. Here's Amanda on platform 2, going up 10 kilos to 341.
It's a very nice squat.
And that's about what we would want to see comparative, your second attempt comparative to your opening attempt. We want that to be a little bit slower, but still smooth enough to where you can have a good gauge of what you want to put on for that third.
Oh, wow. So Brianna's going to miss again on depth, this time from the center judge as well. So we have 2 lifters who are in a bit of a danger zone on platform 1.
Here's Janet Duncan. Good lift for her, 3 white lights. Kelly Newbert taking her time getting set up under 308 pounds.
Go.
A little bit slow out of the bottom there, kind of hit a solid sticking point, but powered out of it well. Did get 1 call for depth from the center judge, 2-1 from the side judges.
It's always interesting when you get that lone depth call from the center. Oh, Kelly gets a bit stuck.
We've only got 1 or 2 lifters left in this flight before we go on to our last attempt to squat. Julie Wilson, excellent squat there for that second attempt. Looked just as easy as her opener did. And a 10-kilo jump as well. 3 white lights. Bars loaded now for Sally Goldman. Missing that opener, but went up 5 kilos.
Yeah, I think she's feeling good. We'll see if she can just squat a little deeper on this attempt.
And again, that speaks to that experience. If she's been in this position before, if she knows what she's capable of, if that opener was just a technical issue, we're able to come back, add some weight, and hit it for the second.
Right.
That looked good to me. Again, we only have the front view. Judges think so too.
3 white lights.
Sally's on the board. We are up to the top of the lineup here on platform 2. Julie Collins, small jump to 135. It's 297 pounds. And when we're looking at what our lifters want to put on for their attempts, you know, you have folks that, especially when they're going into their second attempts, you have folks that want to take that larger jump and take that smaller jump going into the third attempt. Maybe you have folks that want to take more even jumps across the board. Julie faring well, taking that smaller jump going into the third attempt. 3 white lights for her.
Yeah, left a lot of room in the tank, which I think, you know, it would be awesome to, you know, max out and kind of exhaust that tank on squat, but, you know, these meets are long. A lot of athletes just want to make sure you get a solid third squat in, something that's close to your best, but it doesn't tax your entire body for the day. I think that's probably the best possible way to, you know, get out of the squat session and into bench.
That's right. And we're on to third attempts for both platforms now. Bars getting loaded up for Elizabeth Dudick.
Oh, it's a bit of a fight, but that's I think that's going to be good. We'll see what the judges think. Unfortunately,
2-1 on depth again. She is on the board. She got that second attempt at 132, but that does kind of put a damper on the momentum going into bench and deads. Luckily, we've got a good amount of time to reset and recoup before we get into it.
Yeah, it can be disappointing to start your day on the wrong foot, but, you know, these meets are long and you've got 6 lifts after this, and so gotta have a short-term memory and think about, you know, what you can do to your squat after the meet.
Stephanie Miller, solid squat on 2. Looks like she was able to get 314 just a little bit deeper. She's on the board with that. Bars loaded for Helen Adams on 1 here. Now, again, Helen is at risk of disqualification here if she does not make this attempt. Her prior 2 attempts, she did miss on depth.
Yeah, she's had plenty of strength. We'll just need to see if she can just execute a little better here for the judges. Okay, it looks a little deeper.
I think that's there.
I think that's good.
Oh, my goodness, 2-1. Unfortunately, that's not going to do for Helen Adams, and she is going to be one of our first disqualifications for the day. We hope that she does come back for bench and deads. We actually encourage that for all of our lifters. You're here, do the rest of the meet.
Yeah,
it's unfortunate to see. But we do have Debbie Noxon coming up next to 87.5 kilos. Again, that small 2.5 kilo jump. That is the smallest increment you can make.
So, and you can tell a lot about how a lifter is feeling based on how big that jump is. You know, when they make the minimum increment, you know, you can pretty much infer that the lifter is thinking about playing it safe, or, you know, they think there might not be too much left, trying to eke out a little bit more before they have to start thinking about the next lift. So very nice squat by Yared on platform 2.
Big grind there for Debbie on her last attempt. It looks like she's on the board with it, 2-1. Bars loaded up next for Alana Wright. She's going to be taking 264 pounds. Jen Schaefer is getting set up under 336 pounds. Jen Schaefer controlled out of the bottom, hits that wall, but powers through well.
It's a good squat. I think the judges are going to agree. There you go.
Alana Wright absolutely buried that squat. I think she might have got just a little bit too low. She got called for depth on the opener, got well enough deep for that second attempt, but I think she might have just gotten too low for the third. And that can happen. You know, you get taken out of groove. You want to go just that little bit deeper to show the judges that you can hit that.
Yeah, I'm gonna assume that they had it in the plan to take 120 or something close, and so just trying to go with the regular plan today. After that adjustment, as you said, a little bit too heavy. We actually have Monica. She goes up 5 kilos after her second attempt miss. Oh, and I think it was a good call.
She's got Jessup powerlifting in the corner with that play call, so we know he knows how to make the weight shake
Sandy
on the bar.
Fighting. Yeah. Just hard to get past that sticking point. Luckily, she only went up 2.5 kilos, so did not lose much. It's very easy to make that up over the course of a meet.
And good grab there by the spotters and loaders as well. These folks have been working super hard all week, and they're going to continue to be working hard all week till Sunday. All day, every day. Amanda Kirsten, solid third attempt.
Good squat. It's 3 whites.
Lynette on 1, going up 5 kilos. Big jump from the first to second, so that's a 15-kilo jump. And then small 5 kilo jump from second to third. That's about 10 pounds.
Oh, wow. That was a great attempt. Let's see what the judges think. She's happy. I think the judges are happy.
3 white lights, big celebration off the platform there with Coach. I'd love to see the emotions pour out.
Okay, very nice. So she actually failed on what you might say is strength on the second attempt. Comes back and grabs that. Again, bit of a technical issue. They come back, fix it, stay calm, and she's going to be walking into bench happy.
That's the kind of day we can expect from national level competitors. Trina Scordo on 1, Janet Duncan on 2.
Oh, wow.
Both lifters hitting pretty solid sticking points there, but both stand up and both get good lifts. 3 white lights on both platforms. We've got Brianna Green coming up next on platform 1. Again, at risk of disqualification here. Let's see if she can put it all together.
Yeah, she's looked very strong. Just needs to make sure she sells this to the judges.
Plenty of time, Kelly. Plenty of time. You have 20 seconds.
She's got to get just a little bit deeper.
Okay, I mean, let's see. It can be hard with that narrow stance to know what you're looking at. 2 to 1, she's in the meet.
Sometimes all it takes is that extra little bit, that extra half centimeter. And like you were saying, it is a lot harder to show that depth when you have your legs a lot more narrow in that stance. It's harder to see the crease of the hips because your legs are in the way. Here's Kelly Parker on 2, retaking 162.5 kilos. Kelly Newbert on 1, doing a 142.5. That's 314 pounds.
Yeah, Kelly got stuck out of the bottom of the squat, so let's see if she can just find her way out of the hole. Yeah, just hard to get past that sticking point.
It looks like she came out of the bottom a little bit faster as well. Bars loaded up next for Julie Wilson on 1, 152.5 kilos, 336 pounds. Suzette Bradley retaking 167.5, and she'll be our last lifter for this first flight before we move on to flight B.
Let's get medium yell for Maggie. Come on now.
Oh, she missed earlier on depth. Again, the trend here is, these ladies that miss on the technicalities, they've had plenty of strength, so she needs to settle in here.
Julie Wilson. Excellent play calling there. Oh, unfortunately, it's going to be 2-1 on depth. I thought that was plenty deep enough on it compared to that first and that second. But again, we only have that front view.
Absolutely. And you know, if the athlete and the coach disagree, they have the ability to go to a jury.
That's
You
absolutely
can't
right.
see that on camera, but we've got a jury table of some of our highest-ranking judges watching every platform. You know, every athlete and coach has the right to go protest a decision or something related to the organization of the platform. We just want to make sure that everything is secure. I don't expect to see that often, but athletes do have that right.
Here's Sally Goldman going up 10 kilos. Just a big jump from that second attempt.
Oh, wow.
She
Okay.
stood up quick, but wasn't deep enough.
Ah, 2 white lights.
Barber's our first lifter on Flight B for Platform 2. Solid opener there at 75 kilos, 3 white lights. And Francesca Bill giving love to the spotters for her last attempt. Big jump from opener to second attempt, 137 to 150. Then 10 kilos between her second and third attempt. Now she's doing 352 pounds. Rocking the star-spangled A7 knee sleeve. Shout out to our presenting sponsor.
Oh, wow. Just falls back on her heel a little bit. That was a good attempt.
If we gave fourth attempts, I would give her a fourth attempt.
Yeah, definitely let her try again, but overall, not a bad first flight of squats.
We're now on to second flight on both platforms. Just a reminder, once we get done with this flight of squats here, we're going to be taking a 10-minute break, let our platform get set up for the bench press. There's Bonnie Clausen on one, taking 165 pounds. A little bit shaky of a walk out there, but got settled. Looks like she recouped well. Plenty deep enough, kind of sat in the bottom there to show the judges. Very controlled in contrast to Latanya, excuse me. 3 white lights, very fast on the descent there.
Every athlete's going to have a different level of comfort with how they control the squat, and so we'll see how that continues to work as the weight progresses up.
Janine on one, taking 220 pounds, 100 kilos. Amy Bogue on two, taking 286 pounds.
There we go.
Smooth openers from both of our ladies. God, it's so nuts just seeing the spotter loader crew just swoop in as soon as that lift is done, getting the platform ready for the next lifter.
Yeah, these are professionals. They set the pace of our meet, and it's a bit of a hot take I hold, but I think they're the most important group of people at any powerlifting meet.
Absolutely. The meet literally does not run without spotters and loaders.
And I know when as a competitor, that you have a group of people keeping you safe, you lift a lot better, and to be honest, they're often, your most vocal supporters because they don't want to fail. They don't want you to fail. They don't want to have to, do a little bit of extra work, and so you're helping them out, and they're there if you need them.
Here's Mindy Lunsford on platform 2, taking 286. No belt, always respectable. But that is going to be no lift. Depth call from all three of our referees there. We want to be sure we just get a little bit deeper.
So it's a high bar squatter, and so just going to need to make sure those hips get back and down a little bit more. Again, strength was definitely not an issue. I think she'll be able to make an adjustment.
Jordan Selleck, 132.5 right behind. No knee sleeves. Then Heidi Johnson rocking the full A7 meat kit, 231 pounds. Easy opener there for Jordan. Heidi a little bit more slow and controlled into the bottom there, but that looks like it's going to be a good lift for her. Let's see what the judges say. And it wasn't. That's going to be a no lift, red and yellow cards.
Yeah, I'm going to
across the board.
assume with 3 yellows that she missed some sort of command. And so if you're at home, I'm not sure if you can hear, but for the lifters to, complete the entirety of the attempt, they need a start command to start the squat, and they also need to wait for a rack command, to bring the bar into the rack. And so it can be very easy, to make a very small mistake and then just jump one of those commands.
Oh my
wow.
gosh. Two very different squats we see on the board here. Holly with a very fast descent here on platform 1. Libby with a little bit slower descent on platform 2. Both good lifts. That was just a really fast descent. I think it took both of us by surprise a little bit. Here's Samantha Schubert. And Melissa Taylor taking 147.5, 325 pounds. Samantha taking her time, making sure that walkout is as stable as possible. A little bit of a tough squat there on platform 2. Kind of the same for platform 1 here. It was a little bit slower for an opener. What do you think that does going into their seconds and even into their thirds?
I think, whenever you're doing the first attempt of any of these lifts, you always want it to look and feel light. I think there is something to say where, the nerves and sort of getting settled in can kind of impact, the speed of the bar. But what I would do is I would just, make an adjustment on this second attempt, try to go a little bit more conservative, see if that was, a fluke or if that's a signal of, your general strength on the day. But you definitely have to take that into account when you're making a decision.
Good squats from both lifters, Sandra and Jacqueline. 2 to whites on platform 1, 3 whites on platform 2. We are cruising right along. Macy's up next on platform 2, followed by Anna and Michelle. Here's Sherry Nichols taking 117.5 kilos. That's 259 pounds.
They're 2 very smooth squats.
Christine Dunn taking 264. Bar is loaded for her. Anna Castano on platform 2. Our next to last lifter there taking her opener in one of my favorite A7 kits. I love that they released that last year. She's going to be taking 352. Both lifters very slow and controlled on the way down.
And that's a thing to note too as well. Some lifters, they just end up lifting a little bit slower, but they still have all the same room as other lifters that you think might be lifting a bit faster. You just have to know your athlete and know yourself when you're making these decisions.
Yep. And while there are certain requirements that our lifters have to hit on the platform, it's all about what the lifter can do with their technique and with the way that they lift within the confines of those requirements. There's no rule that says you can't squat deep or squat fast or slow. There's no rule that says you can't have a slow walkout or a fast walkout.
Absolutely.
It's all for what the lifter is most comfortable with and what they know they can do on the platform. Looks like both lifters had solid lifts there. Good lift on platform 1 and as well on platform 2. Michelle is going to take us back to the top of the order here for Barbara, opening our second attempt here at 82.5 kilos, 181 pounds. Bars loaded now for Erica Carlson.
Good lift on platform 4.
Oh, wow.
Barbara's squat still moved just as fast, but was it deep enough? 2-1. Yep, looks like that side referee caught it was just a little bit high. But again, majority rules is all we need in this sport. 2-1 as well on platform 1 for Erica's opener.
No, you definitely still want to watch out for that as you're thinking about your next attempt. You don't want it to be lingering and worry you and change, but that signal is still there. And so just make sure you're feeling confident when you're getting to the bottom of the squat.
Sherry Doggins getting quite possibly as low as humanly possible for that opener squat. It looked phenomenal.
Oh,
2-1, and she
depth
still got a call for depth.
Yeah. With our front view, some of these lifters, they have a bit of a longer femur. And that can make it a little deceptive as far as, where we think their hip crease actually is relative to where their knee is as well. And so that's where the side judges really, they can really punish lifters for not getting deep enough.
And coming up to the bar now, Miss Alicia Webb. Multiple-time national champion in both equipped and raw. Team Roar out of Georgia. Alicia Webb looking to stack on another Masters National Championship this year.
Absolutely. Opening with 400 pounds.
Easily the heaviest opener of the day thus far. She is going to be our favorite to win the Masters 100 kilo class. That projected total is a sizable gap away from the second and third. So Alicia Webb, should she hit all of her lifts today, will be in a good spot.
She's got a really big advantage on bench as well, so we're going to see that after this squat session.
She is a bench national champion as well, both equipped and raw.
Okay.
Mindy Ludsford gets on the board with 130.
Yeah, always good to see someone rectify a mistake on an opener.
Bonnie Clausen taking her time getting walking out. 80 kilos, 176.
Oh, wow.
Again, kind of sitting in the bottom of that squat there. You don't have to do that. That's not something that you necessarily want to do either, just because that's energy lost. Sometimes that's just how people squat.
Yeah, absolutely. You get to the bottom and you just, you want to make sure you're in the right place. So, where it looks like she stops, you're just going, a little bit slower, trying to eke out the last little bit of space. And, she stood up, so that's all that matters.
All right, here's Jordan on platform 2, 303 pounds.
This is an American record attack for Latoya. Now give her a big round of applause. When she starts squatting,
Janine Cascaden, a little bit of a grind coming out of the bottom, but still very smooth for the second attempt. 231 pounds, 3 white lights. That's going to be a no lift for Jordan Selleck on platform 2. Libby Horton's going to come up next and take 145. No wrist straps or no knee sleeves. Here's Lori Hartle, platform 1, 107.5 kilos. Looks like handled by Coach Abi, or Coach Abi, excuse me. I keep calling you Abi. It's a B.
Very nice squat.
Malaysia Taylor unracking 341 pounds.
Yeah, had a bit of a tough opener, bar speed wise. So let's see here how she's feeling. Okay.
Yeah, so that's kind of expected. Like you were saying, and we kind of been saying this all meet, but you want that opener to be something that sets yourself up well for a second and third attempt at heavier weight. These are maximal attempts that you're taking, and to an extent, you want that opener to be something heavy, but you don't want it to be too heavy to where you then put yourself in a position that second or third attempt is going to be questionable.
Absolutely.
You don't want to leave anything to chance. It's going to be a no lift again for Heidi Johnson on platform 1. She did go up 5 kilos to 110, and that kind of puts her into that tough position that we were talking about. Do you go up in weight? It looks like she only missed on depth, so not necessarily anything that she missed on strength, so it's very possible that she could come back and hit that. But that's just another variable you have to think about.
Yeah, and for Heidi as well, it looked like she missed her opener, on a command, and so just definitely a difficult spot to be in, but she definitely has the ability to make sure she stays in this meet on the third attempt.
Anna Castano's up next on platform 2, taking 363 pounds. Samantha Schubert, she's got 115 loaded.
Yeah, she's up. Samantha, she's taking her time with her setup.
That's never a bad idea. Lifter has a full minute when they say bars loaded to get that start command, and you don't always have to go out there and get right under the bar. You can take all the time that you need. I always tell my lifters, use the whole minute. Especially if it's a shorter flight, use the whole minute. Give yourself all the time you need to be sure that you can get that squat down and up.
Yeah, you only need the command, so you can spend the whole minute getting ready.
Great squat there for Macy. Three white lights. The majority of the squats that we're seeing today are moving very well. A lot of the issues that we're seeing, the red lights that we're seeing, are technical.
Yeah, and a lot of depth calls.
Good lift there for Sherry Nichols. Sandra's up next, going to take 275. Bars loaded for Nichelle. Big jump. 12.5 kilos, 391 pounds here for Nichelle.
Opener moved pretty well. We'll see if the jump was warranted.
A little bit of a slower second attempt there for Sandra. Still smooth, though.
Okay. Now, I want to see if Nichelle here is going to get white lights. 2 to 1.
2 to 1,
okay.
Yep. The only thing that I think, and she did get a depth call from the side referee. Again, we can't see that from the front view. The only thing I think she could have gotten the red light for would be any up and downward motion.
Absolutely.
And that's a tricky thing for our referees to watch out for. For the folks at home, if you're watching the bar, one thing that we like to say when our referees are looking for up and downward motion is you want to see the center of the bar go down, right? The sides of the bar, the ends of the bar can kind of tilt and teeter and totter, and do all that. But so long as the center of the bar does not go back down, then that does not constitute up and downward motion.
And it can be a bit deceptive from the broadcast angle. Just, some of these athletes, they have a bit of a forward lean in their chest. And so when the bar comes closer to our end, it can look like the bar goes down when, in reality, they're just, moving horizontally in space, but not vertically.
Exactly. Andrea Holka, Diana Hicks on platforms 1 and 2. We are on a third attempts for platform 2. Barbara got her last attempt at 87.5 kilos. Diana Hicks now with 117.
Oh, wow.
Diana Hicks able to stand it up. Was it deep enough for the judges? And it
Well,
was. She's super stoked with that one. It's always a good feeling coming off your squat. Not even just 3 for 3, but even 2 to 3, getting those last few squats really sets up the momentum going into bench.
Yeah, they say, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And as far as, how you're feeling at a powerlifting meet, I mean, that couldn't be more true. Very smooth by Erica. Oh.
It's going to be 2 to 1, unfortunately.
Yeah, just needs to get a little deeper on that third attempt.
Bars loaded up next for Amy Bogue on platform 3. 142.5 kilos, 314 pounds. A casual 3-plate date, we call that in the gym. And for the folks at home, if you guys are interested in following along to the live action, attempt selections, attempt changes, all that good stuff, go ahead and type in www.liftingcast/meets. Scroll down to USA Powerlifting at Masters Nationals Day 2. And pick a platform, check the action if you got a certain lifter you're looking for.
Yeah, unfortunately, both lifters are going to lose their balance there.
Good grab there by the spotters and loaders. She did keep her hand on the bar. She did make sure she kind of kept balance with it. Spotters and loaders there making sure she was kept safe for that third attempt, and she is. Alicia Webb, 421 pounds. 424, excuse me. Loaded up for Alicia Webb.
Okay, Mindy taking a 15-kilo jump after missing, bit of a tough jump there. I mean, 30 pounds at, in that weight range, I think it's quite a lot.
At that point, you argue, do we try to get the distance back now on squat? Do we try to push it? Do we get it back on deads? And I think the better option there, at least in that situation, is probably to do the latter.
Yeah, I think anytime you really, you miss an attempt and you have to think about changing your approach a little bit, you've got to account for that in the attempt selection as well. Oh,
Alicia
wow.
Webb, big squat.
Okay, so Libby there, she's going to at least get yellows. She stood up with the squat, but, moved her feet in the process, went to go rack it, and so wasn't the cleanest rep, and the judges won't accept that, but she still stood up. I think if you're going to fail in these situations, you definitely want it to be as easy as possible, as, want to avoid it being a costly, fatiguing sort of miss.
With that attempt, Alicia's going to take us up to the top of the lineup here on platform 1. Bars loaded for Bonnie, 82.5 kilos locked and loaded for her.
Oh, wow.
Alicia Taylor able to stand it up. proving us wrong. 3 white lights, missing that opener, or making the opener, missing that second attempt on strength, and then coming back and hitting it. Dog behavior. We appreciate seeing that.
It's special to see someone miss on strength and then get it back.
Bonnie Clausen making short work of that. Bars loaded for Heidi now. At risk of disqualification here. Needs to hit this squat in order to stay in the meet. Jacqueline Gregory on platform 2. Going up 5 kilos. Great call for the third attempt there for Jacqueline. Here's Heidi. Looks plenty deep enough on our end.
Okay. I think this is going to be white lights. Let's hope.
Let's get on the board. Come on, Heidi. Get in there. 3 white lights.
That's a relief. I mean, just to start your day 0 for 2, and now she's still in the meet. She's going to continue on.
If you have a lifter that just did that, what are you telling them going into the rest of the meet?
Well, it depends on my relationship with them, but I think what I'm going to...
That's a good response. It depends on how close I am with them.
I think the biggest thing is, I'll try to get them to focus on the rest of the meet. Just know that, hey, like, monkey off your back. Maybe you might be disappointed about what happened, but we've got 2/3 of the meet left. Let's, worry about the squat later.
I like what you mentioned earlier. You want to have a short memory with this kind of thing. You have 9 whole lifts, and you're going to be here all day.
Yep.
You're going to be here for at least 3 hours, and so you want to have a short memory and take each lift as an individual attempt. You don't want to carry your performance, especially with a different lift. You don't want to carry that throughout the rest of the meet. Janine with unfortunately not going to go. A solid attempt regardless. She stood it up, but it's going to be 2-1 on depth for that last attempt. Bars loaded for Macy, looking to keep the energy rolling for her last one, 172.5. And that's a solid attempt there regardless. And we're on our last lifter on platform 2, Nichelle Pena. We go up 2.5 kilos to 180. That's 396.
Lori
Hardle.
Fighting.
Oh,
she
wow.
stands up. Wow. See, that's 3 whites.
Woo! You're seeing some excellent grinds from our ladies this morning. Nichelle Pena here, 396. Holly's got 264 on the bar for her on platform 1. Big attempt there for Nichelle. And regardless, even if that was on strength, it was only 2.5 kilos, like you were saying earlier. It doesn't take too much to get that back if that's something that we're trying to do for the total, if we're running for any placings or anything like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And anytime you're going to fail, you definitely want to fail quick. Definitely let the bar be caught, just because you don't want to fight it for so long. And we keep saying it's a long day, but you don't want to hurt your nervous system. Don't want to be tired. Still a lot of meat to go.
That's right. That's the end of the action on platform 2 with Nichelle's last squat there. So they're going to start their 10-minute break up here shortly and get everything set up for the bench press. Samantha Schubert, we've still got about 6 or 7 lifters on platform 1. Yes, I did do the hand signal. Sorry, everybody at home. Slow and controlled to 264. It hits a good stick. Gets the nod of approval from Coach Sean Collins in the corner. 3 white lights.
Yeah, the bar is allowed to move, as slow as the lifter would like, or as slow as it's going to move, while they're performing the lift, but as long as it doesn't go down, that is going to be a clean lift. I think there, I mean, it might have even stopped for a second once you hit that sticking point.
Sandra retaking 275 for the Masters 2 100 kilo class. Very smooth. I don't know if it was quite as deep enough. 2-1, it was.
2-1.
There we go. One of my favorite things about being a commentator is being wrong. I very much enjoy being wrong, especially when it's to the advantage of the lifter.
Oh, absolutely. You never want to see them miss a lift. Oh, Sherry's wearing the A7 kit here. She's got everything on, and she is gonna, wow.
That was a very fast descent there, and it worked for her. 3 white lights. Got 5 lifters left on platform 1 before we go into our 10-minute break there. Coach Sean Collins got a busy day today. He's got a few lifters in this flight. Christine Dunn, 286 pounds. Slow and controlled on the walkout, as you should be. Got almost 300 pounds on your back. You want to be sure you don't mess it up.
Yeah, and I think that setup is going to pay off. Very smooth attempt.
Looked clean to me.
Yeah, 2-1.
Gosh, that left referee is really squeezing him today. But again, that just speaks to the national standard that we have for Masters Nationals. We have international level referees as well. I know you were saying we have the jury as well, watching over each platform, and those are Category 2. We have different categories of referees: Category 1, Category 2. Bars loaded for Andrea Holka up next, 297 pounds. A little bit of a hitch on the way down there.
Oh, wow.
But came up way smooth.
Yeah, 3 whites. Oh, and she's excited.
That was beautiful.
Yeah, I think you saw there, she's taken a lot of ownership over the descent, making sure, there's no shift, no wasted motion, gets into the pocket of the squat, and very smooth on the way up.
Yep. Erica Carlson taking the same weight.
She's actually going up 2.5 kilos. So missed the second on depth from the sides. I looked it to go up 2.5. Okay, I mean, the strength was there all the way through. Let's see.
Looks like she's stoked about it.
Deep enough. Yeah, 3 whites. Sometimes 5 pounds can make the difference.
All right, bars loaded for Sherry. She's going to be taking the same weight, 157.5 kilos. £347.
Okay, let's see what the judges think.
Again, with that narrow stance, it is a little bit tougher to see depth, at least from this angle, but 2-1, it's there.
2-1.
And then we've got our last lifter in the flight, Miss Alicia Webb. She's going to go up to 440 pounds, 200 kilos even, which would be a decently sizable jump, in my opinion. That second attempt was a pretty slow, at least once it got to the lockout. But Alicia Webb is no stranger to the national stage, no stranger to being able to dig it out. So we'll see if she's able to make this attempt move here. Team Roar product.
Yeah, and sometimes when you load up a little, something extra on that third attempt, just the hype and the momentum, I mean, it can really give you a little extra strength to push for more. So we're going to see here our last squat on platform 1 for this session.
Good grab there by the spotters and loaders. Just a little bit too much on the day. And that's going to be the end of our squats for session 1 here for Masters Nationals. We're going to go ahead and take a 10-minute break here on platform 1, but we'll actually be back here in about 4.5 minutes for platform 2. They're getting started up here shortly. So we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back here in just a little bit. Welcome back, everybody, to Masters Nationals Day 2 for USA Powerlifting here in Lombard, Illinois, presented by A7. My name is Nick Stevens,
And I am Tong Hung.
and we are going to get started with our action of the bench press over on Platform 2. Still got about 8 minutes or so before Platform 1 gets cracking again. So in the meantime, we'll be giving you our coverage of Platform 2. And again, this is Masters National, so all of our lifters are over the age of 40. Masters 1 is ages 40 to 49, Masters 2, 50 to 59, Masters 3, 60 to 69, so on and so forth.
Yeah, and if you've been watching through the squat session, you're going to notice, bench press is going to be a big change of pace. The biggest reason is because, compared to the other lifts, lifters have to respond, to the head ref for basically every single action of the lift. And so, we quiet down the venue. We ask, the crowd to, cheer as the lift is going, but, just, quiet enough until they can hear the commands of the head ref.
That's right, and bench press is, and the reason for that is a lot more of a complex movement. With there's a lot more things that can go wrong. There's a few more commands that we're listening to. With the squat, you just have that start command and the rack command. With bench, like you were saying, you have to respond your movement to the referee's commands. So you have to start when they say start. You have to press when they say press. You have to rack when they say rack. And you have to meet, obviously, all the positional requirements to meet that. And so there's a lot more that can go wrong. And it may seem that the energy is kind of turned down a little bit, but in a sense, yes, but the focus, in essence, is then turned up to 11 so that our lifters can be sure that these attempts are as perfect and as in groove as they need to be, because it's a lot easier to misgroove a bench than it is with a squat and deadlift.
Yeah, and I think, Nick said the word there. I mean, it's all about focus. These lifters, they're trying to make sure every little detail is correct. You definitely don't want to ever miss a lift on a technicality, and there are more technical aspects on the bench press. So, you can see, these head refs, they'll even get closer to the platform if a lifter is hearing impaired, or they're, or feel like they would like a more direct signal. The head ref will also give them a small touch on the shoulder to give them the commands. So we just want to make sure that all of the athletes are accommodated for and able to, perform the lift to the best of their ability.
We see Suzette Bradley getting us some assistance with the blocks there. And you're going to come to find, especially when it comes to the bench press, it's one of the more, I like to call it one of the more accessible lifts of the three. We want to be sure that each lifter is in the best position possible. And so the lifter does have the preference and the option to have boxes placed underneath their feet. We have 3 different heights of boxes, 10, 20, and 30 centimeters. And that's so the lifter can have a better platform on which to place their feet in order to get that good leg drive for the bench press, especially if they're a little bit shorter or if there's any sort of movement abilities or changes like that. And again, that is lifter preference. That's something that the lifter can request before the lift. They can request that in between lifts if they want to. You can also change your opener. You can change your rack heights. You can change whatever you want. We want to be sure that our lifters are in the best position possible for the platform.
Yeah, and as Nick explained, the reason for that is we can adjust the rack, we can adjust the barbell, but we keep the bench pad itself static for all the competitors. And so, if that is a disadvantage for lifters, we make sure that they have the bench blocks just so that they can get the same sort of reach and ability to set themselves up.
And as we're watching these openers, I know you mentioned you're a referee as well. What are some things that what I guess I could say, what are the top 2 things that you're looking for from the head referee side in the bench press?
I think from that point, I'm thinking about making sure that they have a proper grip on the bar, and that all of the points of contact that I can see, I think primarily the heels, to be honest, are all touching. So, in this federation, your heels do have to be on the floor. So, yeah, that's going to be the most important things. And then after that, you want to make sure that their arms are fully extended, the elbows are locked out. It's actually a bit of, not an issue, but, some lifters can be a little crooked, and so you just want to make sure that everything is ready for the start command.
Yeah, and we are getting essentially the head referee view here. We see head referee off to the side there, and we're not getting the side referee views. And actually, the side referees see a little bit more than the head referee does. The head referee is really just there to signal the movement of the bench. The side referee is really looking to make sure that everything is there tech-wise. They're making sure that your heels stay on the ground. They're making sure that your butt stays on in contact with the pad, that you follow the commands. Kathleen here gets that start command. Very fast opener, very smooth opener. And that's exactly what we want to see. Folks, if you're tuning in, waiting for Platform 1 to start, we've got about 2 minutes left before we get cracking there. Kelly Parker's up next. A bit of a tough go through squat. She got her opener. She's on the board with 155. Looking to change the momentum going through bench, opening up with 176 pounds.
Okay, so that's, I think, that is a tough
tell
spot to
me
be
what
in.
happened there. What do you think?
If I had to take a guess, I think that maybe she might have set up, a little, off her mark, I would say, depending on how she likes to set up. And you can kind of tell by the way the bar just becomes unstable as it approaches her chest. I don't think she was in the right place, so just wants to go back in the warm-up room, think about, what sort of mistake she made, because I'm not sure, it's hard to say that was on strength, right? Because bench, if you, change your setups even just a little bit, I mean, your ability to, express your own strength, I mean, it can change drastically. And so I saw all of yesterday, people coming out looking like they missed on strength, come back, nail their setup, and it moves like the opener. And so you just need to make sure you're calm because, I mean, the little details matter here on this lift.
Here's Jennifer Schaefer coming up next. Looks like she's being handled by Holly Mann, who competed yesterday, actually. We've got 1 minute left on Platform 1 before we get started there.
That's a good lift.
One of the more important things our head referee is looking at here is how the lifters are pausing. The head referee is not going to give that press command, until the bar is completely motionless on the chest or until the referee deems that so. So it's all that much more important for the lifters to lock in how they want to bring that bar down. They can either bring it down slowly and really define where that pause is, like Angie did for that attempt. Very slow, methodical, hard stop at the chest. Or you have some lifters that bring it down a lot faster, kind of utilize a sink, so they let the bar sink into their chest a little bit. The issue with that, though, is it's going to be a little bit longer for the referee to give you that press command because the bar still looks like it's moving.
And that can be hard to see on the broadcast angle. A lot of times when you are thinking about, one athlete getting a longer pause than another, most of that difference is really going to be on, if the bar is completely motionless. And again, when you're a little bit closer, like the head ref is, it's easier to kind of tell the difference. And so we'll just have to keep an eye out for that.
Here's Amanda Andrews. And we do have Elizabeth Dudek starting up our action on Platform 1. She's going to take 66 pounds for her opening attempt. Amanda Andrews, a little bit slow off the chest there. That's going to be a good lift, but when it comes to bench press, you have a lot less room to work. When you have a heavier opener, what does that do for your second and third?
Well, I'll say this, particularly for these ladies, when you're benching around this range, around 100 kilos, because of the minimum increment in powerlifting being 2.5, you don't have much room to go. And so it can be a tough position because, in powerlifting, if you look at the data, the third bench press is the most missed attempt. and we've had it a lot this week so far. And so when you open heavy, I mean, the amount of options you have are very limited.
Here's Monica Beckham, 231-pound opener. Debbie Noxon on platform 1, taking 93 pounds.
Okay.
So Monica looks like she got a replace command from the head referee.
Yeah, we're gonna need to see here. I couldn't interpret what the head ref was asking her to do, but when you're waiting to give an athlete the start command, okay, so she's gonna time out. So if you're watching at home, what happened there is, some aspect of her setup, whether it be her butt not being on the bench, her heels not being on the ground, her points of contact in her upper back or her neck,
Elbows not being locked
the
as
elbows. Yeah, I was gonna say the elbows. Something was wrong there to where all of the referees didn't feel comfortable giving her the start command, and so she's gonna run out of time. Now, it can be a little nerve-wracking for that to happen, but I think the smart thing is just to come back, take that attempt again, and then keep moving forward after that one.
Stephanie Miller also getting a replace command. And generally when you get a replace command from that head referee... Oh.
Okay, I don't believe the
That was the
bar-
incorrect lifter. That's what it was. It was the wrong lifter.
That is a good catch by our referees.
This here is Stephanie Miller. We're already on second attempts here for platform 2. 72.5 kilos locked and loaded. Ooh, I wonder, that press command was a little quick. I wonder if she... Yep.
Oh, yeah, wow.
I didn't think that was kind of a toss-up gamble call that I made, but I'm kind of glad that I was right about that. So the head referee threw a yellow card underneath that, and so what I was saying was I think she pressed it a little too fast. You have to wait for that referee to say press before you actually begin the motion of the press. If you try to time it, if you try to hit it at the exact same time, you're leaving it up to interpretation, and the chances of it being a solid pause are a lot lower. But 2-1, still a good lift either way. Julie Cullen, another good lift, 3 white lights.
Yeah, a lot of lifters, or I'd say there are some lifters who do try to time the pause, and I think it's a very risky strategy, especially at these meets where, again, we try to maintain as much competitive consistency as possible, but I mean these referees are working through hundreds of athletes every single session, and so case by case, technique by technique, really just want to make sure that you are executing to your own platform.
Got Yard Wilburn, second attempt here. Referee getting a little bit closer, just making sure she can hear those attempts. Here's Alana Wright on platform 1. She's taking 143. And bar is now loaded for Suzette on platform 2. I always enjoy seeing the different setups that lifters have getting into a bench press. You have the very classic, what we call the exorcist setup we see Suzette doing here with the very extreme arch here, planting the shoulders, making sure that you get under the bar positionally.
Yeah, we had a bit of a discussion earlier during the squat session about how important it is to own the platform and the entire time you have, but I mean that's the most important, in this lift, right? You've got to, bench press is unique because it's the only lift in powerlifting where you have to, lift while interacting with a foreign object, and that's the bench pad. And so making sure you are nice and sturdy on there the way that you like and the way that you practice, all of that is going to matter, as we've seen so far.
Absolutely right. Here's Kelly Parker. Kelly, a bit of a tough spot. She did miss her last 2 squats and then missed her opening bench. Really hoping she can turn the momentum around here. We do want to see her on the board. She looks like she missed her opener on strength.
Now we'll see here if they tried to just focus up a little bit on her setup and see if that was a bit of a fluky first attempt.
That looked a lot more stable this go round. Can she find her way to lock out?
Fighting, yeah.
She can. You are allowed to lock out unevenly. Just the bar didn't go back down.
Okay.
2-1. We're on the board.
Yeah, considering the way it's moving, I mean, I think, I would be happy making sure that there's an attempt on the board because that first attempt was very, very tough. And, again, like we said, of all the lifts we're coming back after a strength miss, I think this is the hardest one to do so. And so,
Absolutely.
Not having, maybe the ideal day, the one that they plan for, but she is at least on the board.
Here's Amanda Kirsten. 181-pound Sally Goldman on platform 1, taking 72.5 kilos, 159. Very smooth second attempt for Amanda. And same for Sally. Bar is loaded up next for Brianna Green. Brianna giving us all a little bit of a heart attack on our end. She missed her first 2 squats, absolutely buried her third, and able to get back on the board. So see if she was able to keep that short memory like we were talking about, put that behind her, open up on bench well, getting the boxes out ready for her. She can get a nice plant with the feet.
Okay, bit of a bobble there. I think she's going to get called 4 up and down on platform 2. Yeah, those to meet 3 reds.
All 3 judges there.
Some lifters, what they'll do is they'll actually try to touch lower onto their abdomen, get a higher touch point, but sometimes just the angle that puts the bar with their arms, it can bobble on the way up. And so we'll see if maybe she can just get a little extra push on the third attempt.
Francesca Bill coming up to take her opening attempt, having a chat to the head spotter, and she's letting him know exactly how she wants that lift off. The lifter does have the preference whether or not they want to lift off from the head spotter. But a lot. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, it's very important to communicate well, just to make sure that everything is competitively consistent. We make sure that every single platform has the same lift-off person, and that person's going to do, potentially, hundreds, right, in a given session. So you need to make sure you can explain well, and they'll do their best.
And not only that, but explain it quickly.
Oh, yes,
because
absolutely.
You can only go out to the platform when they say bar is loaded. And, when you say bar is loaded, you only have a minute to get the start command. So you want to be sure that you're explaining those instructions quickly and concisely and clearly so the head spotter doesn't throw the bar on top of you, and then you get mad at them because you gave them bad instructions.
Yeah, a bit of a tough second attempt for Janet. I think they'll probably take the minimum jump, but one thing that I think we saw earlier in the squat session once, but none so far during this bench session is, lifters are able to scratch attempts. And so if you do, your first attempt, your second attempt, and you realize, hey, I got everything out of myself there, it's not worth it to just go up 2.5 and, do a lift that I expect to fail or it might be too hard. They can scratch that attempt and just go back, relax, and try to, start thinking about the next lift.
I think more coaches should let their lifters scratch attempts, especially if the second attempt moves really, really slow or not what you would want for the rest of the day. We've been saying it all day. Powerlifting is an all-day meet. It is a marathon. It is definitely not a sprint, and so you want to save yourself for the whole rest of the day. If any of your squats or your benches don't move well and you want to save for deadlift, which inherently is one of the more taxing lifts of the 3, got to scratch that attempt and save the energy. There's no shame in it, no harm in it.
And the thing, too, is, a lot of times when you're faced with that decision, you really only think you can go up 2.5. Maybe sometimes you want to gamble with 5. The payoff just really isn't there for you to, risk, being more fatigued. A lot of times grinding out a lift, but athletes can get a bit of a crimp, developing, in their lower back, in their legs, and you don't want that to happen as you get to the end of the meet.
Helen Adams on platform 1, going up 2.5 kilos for her second attempt. Amanda Andrews, same thing on platform 2. Good press out there for Helen. Amanda's not able to find her way through.
Yeah, I mean, that's one there where, they start at 90 kilos. They only go up the minimum increment and fail. I mean, I don't really know if it would be worth it to, come out for that third attempt, but it looks like they're going to load it. Again, they can load it and out of courtesy, not take the platform, but we'll see what they decide to do on the next round of attempts. And we have Monica on platform 2. She missed initially because of a timeout.
Something positionally in her start.
Yeah, let's see here if we notice anything.
Looked okay here. I imagine if it was for the elbows.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure, but regardless, I mean, they rectified it. She'll look strong, and they'll be able to make any decision they'd like now.
Yep. And that takes us to the top of the lineup here on platform 2. Julie Collins taking 75 kilos, 176 pounds. 165 pounds, excuse me. Lynette Doyle taking her second attempt here at 62.5. Ooh, strong press out. She's not letting it go. She hit the wall. Spotters and loaders got to grab it here. And we're going to start to get into the realm of third attempt benches where we're going to start to see that extra 2.5 be the difference between the bench moving and it not coming off your chest at all.
I mean, we're going to see here, so Stephanie Miller elected to actually go up 5 kilos after that second attempt. It's not normal at these competitions for a lifter to go up by a larger increment going from their second to third than the first to the second. And so,
especially on bench.
Yes. So she has to be feeling very confident. We're going to see if this pays off for them. Always makes me nervous to do that.
Sandy Birch gets the replace command on platform 1. Stephanie Miller, nothing doing there for that third attempt. And that was a big jump, like you said.
Yeah, it's a tough decision to make. I think on the flip side, to play devil's advocate, some athletes would argue that if it's a low percentage chance, they'd rather try to go for a 5 than 2.5, and so a lot of different things can affect people's decisions.
Right. No lift there for Sandy on platform 1. Alana Wright's going to come up next, going up 2.5 kilos herself. Yared Wilburn with the grind of the century.
Okay, I just want to see, I saw a bit of what could have been a bobble, but, oh yeah, 2 whites. That's a good lift.
Yep, so that's exactly what we were saying. The bar can kind of step its way up. It can kind of go up slowly, incrementally, but as long as the bar doesn't go down, you're good to go. Alana Wright, very fast descent there, but smooth on the way up. 3 white lights. She's happy with that one. Trina Scordo up next, going to retake 154. That's 70 kilos. Here's Suzette.
Just gets stuck there.
And it looked like the press was a little bit misgrooved there. It looked like she kind of bounced the bar just a little bit on the chest, and when everything isn't perfectly in that groove, especially with a third attempt bench at maximal effort, it's not going to be a fun time. Here's Trina retaking that 154. Looks beautiful to me.
Let's see at the end. We got Kelly Parker here, 82.2.
That's a good lift.
Okay, we've got Kelly. She was on a streak, missing 3 lifts in a row. Finally got that second bench. Let's see if we can kind of start turning things around this meet with this third bench. Yeah, a bit
Nothing
unfortunate
doing there. Looked like it kind of fell to the head a little bit of a misgroove there, which is unfortunate. It looked like the strength could have been there possibly, but when you get into a misgroove, like we were saying, if that technique's not 100%.
Right. Yeah, I think for her, I mean, I'm going to start looking forward to deadlifts. I mean, I'm sure you've had these meets where, the meet goes perfectly up until deadlifts. You miss 1 or 2 pulls, and, your entire perception of the meet changes, and the complete opposite thing can happen. You go 3 for 3 on deadlifts. You might walk away feeling a bit better about today's performance.
Always important to finish strong, especially at a meet such as Masters Nationals. Amanda Kirsten taking her third attempt, small jump, and it paid off very well for her. Still looked just as smooth as her second, I believe. Very stoked with that one, and that sets you up very, very well going into the deadlift. 2-1, good lift for Sally. Here's Elizabeth Bracely.
So
Missing a
Elizabeth,
second attempt and going up as well.
yeah, she had a bit of that bobble, just off her chest. I think maybe an issue with where she was touching on her chest. It could have been a little too low, but definitely had the strength to do it. And so it's a bit of a gamble. Anytime you bobble, was it strength? Was it my technique? And we're going to see here.
Yeah, that's not going to go, unfortunately.
I mean, a much smoother press. I think just maybe the increase in weight.
I agree.
The strength wasn't there, and so perhaps if she retook that weight, might have gotten the third attempt, but.
Francesca Bill up next on platform 1, 85 kilos. Her and Kelly Newbert are going to take the same weight. Jennifer Schaefer's here. She is going to take her same weight. She missed 87.5 on the second. Going to retake that for the third.
Yeah, similar deal here. Had an issue with the bar movement. So let's see, was it strength? Was it the setup? Okay, I mean, let's see what the judges think.
Didn't see any downward motion per se.
Okay,
Nope.
3 white lights, yeah.
That's good. Kelly Newbert, 3 white lights for Francesca Bill. Kelly Newbert's up next. And Janet Duncan getting set up under 198. Big press from Janet. Can she find lockout? She does.
Very good.
Good lift.
Yeah, Janet is having a fantastic day. She is 6 for 6 right now.
Here's Kelly. Beautiful work there. We're back to the top of the lineup. Elizabeth Dudek taking 35 kilos, even 2.5 kilo jumps across the board, taking the smaller increment there. And when you take even jumps like that, you can almost expect how it's going to move. You can predict it a little bit easier. A lot of folks are used to training like that, where they take those small jumps. 3 white lights for Catherine on platform 2.
Yeah, and I think as well, you know, when you're thinking about the decisions you can make, there you go. I mean, with those 2.5 increments, just making sure that's, you know, the sort of jump that you're used to in training, knowing that that's the, you know, the only decision you can make at the meet. It's a great way to prepare yourself, and it obviously, you know, pays dividends there. That's 3 for 3 for Elizabeth. Okay, so Helen unfortunately was disqualified during the squat session. You know, we had talked about, you know, the importance of just continuing on with the meet, trying to enjoy and perform on the other 2 lifts, and, you know, she's going to try to go 3 for 3 here on bench. I think that'd be a great way to just, you know, rebound,
It's a
redeem
great
yourself.
turnaround.
This is Latoya Snell, 270-pound opening bench press.
Go. Yeah, that's a
Helen
good
Adams.
bench. I mean, listen, you don't have to tell anyone that you were disqualified. You can just tell me you went 6 for 9.
Great work there. Excellent turnaround there for Helen after an unfavorable squat session, coming through 3 for 3 on bench. Here's Debbie Noxon up next. 2.5 kilo jump again, up to 50 kilos. A little bit slower off the chest there. Good grab by the spotters and loaders. Monica Beckham on platform 2. 242 pounds.
Oh, wow, it's a very easy press for Monica. Yeah, one of those ones where, you know, that opening attempt, you know, may have derailed the plans a little bit, but I mean, you rebound well, you finish with a very strong bench.
Sandy Birch, platform 1, 65 kilos, looking to retake that. Hips were starting to rise a little bit. That's going to be a no lift. Still come away with her opener. Lynette Doyle up next, 65 kilos on the bar. And then on platform 2, or on the right-hand side, Miss Barbara's going to start off flight B. Easy opener there. Lynette Doyle slow to the press. Very, very smooth lockout there. 2-1. That is all you need, folks. And when you get a yellow card from one of the side referees, it's very possible that maybe the heel came up a little bit. Your foot is allowed to slide, but it just cannot leave contact with the floor. It's very possible her hip might have come up on that side as well. That is why we have 3 referees. Trina Scordo, platform 1, going up 2.5 kilos. Latanya on platform 2, 62.5 kilos. 137 pounds.
Very nice.
Good third there from Trina Scordo. Looked a little bit, looked pretty smooth. I mean, very fast for a third attempt. You could argue that maybe she missed that opener, and so she wasn't able to get the full amount that she wanted on the bench, but to still come away clean is just as important.
Absolutely.
Here's Amy Bogue, 67.5 kilos for her opening attempt. Alana Wright on platform 1. On the left side, 72.5 kilos. And again, that's what we're seeing when you take that small jump to the larger jump, 65 to 67, and then 67 to 72. That larger jump going from the second to third is a lot more risky, especially on bench press.
Yeah, and just to bring it back to your, your earliest point, I mean, just where you decide to open up at, I mean, that can really set the entire path for you.
Here's Julie, last attempt at 72.5 kilos. And case in point there, 2.5 kilo jumps all the way through. She even added 2.5 kilos on her last attempt, and that meant the difference between it moving really well and it not moving at all. Bench is one of the most unpredictable lifts, and in that regard, you have to make it as predictable as possible.
Absolutely. I mean, with the minimum increment, I mean, it's really where it starts to hurt some lifters just on the bench press. If you think percentage-wise, depending on how heavy you're going, how big of a jump you're making, most athletes are going to go anywhere between a 3%, 7% jump. If you're under 100 kilos on bench, I mean, a 2.5% jump, that's a lot.
Brianna Green retaking 77.
Oh, it's a good grind,
It's
but I
going.
think
The hips came up, I think, possibly. A little bit of up and down, yep.
Yeah, it's a bit tough there. Just that initial kind of tilt. I think there was just enough on the left side to bring the middle of the barbell down, as you said.
It looked like she hit the rack just a little bit as well, and that could obviously set off the tracking of the bar.
Yeah, I didn't catch that, but it is always unfortunate if you do hit the rack on the way up.
Here's Nichelle Pena. Opening with 209 pounds. Sally Goldman taking her last attempt at 80 kilos. Ooh. Looks like it fell towards the head there. A bit of a misgroove. Quick grab by the spotters and loaders. Nichelle Pena, very slow. But when you have that slow press and when you have that slow descent and you really bring that bar down to the chest as slow as you can, you're really signaling to the referee exactly when that stop motion is. So to an extent, you almost get a quicker press command.
That as well, and you try to maintain all of the tension the entire way down, and so when you do get that press command, it's a little bit more responsive.
Francesca Bill. Last attempt going up 2.5 kilos. Good call there. Moved up just as smooth. 2-1.
Maybe had a heel come up. Maybe had the butt come up a little bit, but that is going to be a good lift.
Here's Malaysia Taylor. Great comeback from squat. Missing on strength and coming back and hitting it, looking to open up with 100 kilos.
Surprised us earlier with that third attempt. I really would like to see, this opener be very light for her. Just give yourself enough room to, make decisions later on. There you go.
Good press there again with that slow descent. You really show when it's a good grab there by the spotters and loaders for Sally's last attempt there. And then we're going to go to the top of the lineup here on platform 1, flight B. Bonnie Clausen's going to take 88 pounds for her first bench attempt.
All right, so you're going to see the platform crew is cleaning the bench. Now, with the amount of chalk that gets used in the meet, I mean, it can really coat the bench, and athletes can request the barbell, the bench, and even the platform itself to be cleaned.
Heidi Johnson opening up with 55 kilos. 121 pounds. Jacqueline Gregory on platform 2. Heidi Johnson, bit of a rough go through squat, was able to come back and get that opener, or get her last attempt on squat and got that opener for bench. Jacqueline Gregory, bit of a tough opener there.
Yeah, you're gonna see with, okay, so that's 3 white lights. I mean, you're gonna see with that sort of, sink bench that, if they don't have the angle correctly coming off the chest, it's gonna hit a wall before they try to, correct their body and, finish the lockout. But the judges didn't see anything wrong with that, so we're just gonna have to see what sort of decision they make for the second attempt.
Jordan Selleck.
Go. And that's a good example of our discussion about the bar becoming motionless. I mean, she touches her chest pretty early on, but you can just see a little bit of motion on the barbell, before it settles, and then she finally gets that press command. Regardless of if you're sinking or you're having a very small, soft touch, it's got to come to a stop. Okay, so I think we're going to see here on platform 1, the head ref stepping up. This might be, it could be related to the hearing. We might also get a touch command here. We'll see. I think it'll just be a closer vocal command.
Oh, man.
Oh, wow.
Tough spot for Anna Castano. Missing that opener there. Looked pretty well on strength there. Didn't really see any glaring technical issues. We've seen people come back, obviously, in this meet, so it's very possible that all it takes is a quick conversation, a quick reset of the mind, and then we're back on. Barbara on platform 2, taking us back to the top of the order. For second attempt benches, she's going up 5 kilos. Then Sherry Doggins is going to be opening at 132 pounds. That's 60 kilos. Barbara representing bars loaded powerlifting.
See there, and yeah, Barbara's heel is already up, and so it's going to be a failed lift.
Diana Hicks up next, right behind. Then bars loaded for Christine Dunn, just letting the back spotter know how she wants her lift off. Diana Hicks gets the start command on platform 2. There's some up and down motion.
One, yeah.
It looked fast enough, quote unquote, at coming off the chest there. It looked like she might have bobbled it or got a little bit off balance. Oh, it's like she kind of limped off the platform just a little bit. Hope everything's okay there.
Yeah, it's not uncommon, the amount of sort of, twisting that you have to do to get into a very tight position on the bench. A lot of people, they just unfortunately will have small cramps here and there, especially in the lower back. I'm hoping that, it's not the sort of thing that just happened.
Watsone there gets a late press command there. We saw the bar get to the chest and kept bobbling a little bit. Wanted to wait till that bar settled, head referee did, before she gave that press command. Tanya's still able to press it out very well.
Yeah, I mean, when you get it paused that long and the press looks that good, I think you just need to feel more confident than anything.
Here's Sandra taking 65 kilos on platform 1, 143 pounds. Ooh, good second there. The spotter wanted to grab it. You see that?
Yeah.
He wanted to grab it real quick, but glad he didn't. Again, like we were saying, you are allowed to lock out the bar unevenly. You can have one arm fully locked out and the other just lagging right behind. But again, as long as the center of the bar doesn't go down, as long as the whole of the bar doesn't descend, then you are still good to go. Holly on platform 1, Mindy on platform 2.
Okay, very easy for Holly.
A little bit slower there from Mindy. She's got a pretty close grip as well, and when the closer your hands are to the bar, the longer of a distance inherently you have to do to bench, and so you're going to find that lifters that have that closer grip are going to be a little bit faster off the chest, but their sticking point is going to be closer towards lockout. And then complete the opposite. Lifters that have a very wide grip, they're going to be a lot slower off the chest, but their lockout could be a little bit easier. Strong second attempt there from Macy at 100 kilos, 220 pounds. Three white lights for Janine. Right now, folks are competing for their subtotal, and if you folks are curious as to what the attempt selections look like and possible forecasted placings for everything like that, go ahead and check out www.liftingcast.com/meets. Check out Masters USAPL Raw Nationals Day 2 for the Masters. And you can start to see some predictions about where these lifters are going to start to be placing as they start to put in their opening benches and as they get through their attempts.
Okay, so we just see on platform 1, Sherry had a very tough attempt. It just looked like the strength was not there, and so again, it's that danger zone we were talking about. We're just gonna have to see if maybe there was something that they can readjust, focus up a little bit more. Otherwise, she's in a very bad spot.
Spotter's got to grab it for Nichelle Pena on platform 2. Good opener there for Erica. Alicia Taylor getting set up. Oh. Okay, so it looks like she got the replace command. Head referee signaled that her hands might have been outside of the rings. The widest that your hands can go is that index finger on the ring. You can't go any wider than that. Yep. Head referee is looking at it. She thinks that we're a little bit too wide on that left hand.
You just need to make sure it's completely covered, I think.
No, we got the replace command again. It's not.
Yeah,
looking like we
unfortunately
need to
she's
go
going to timeout.
Oh, yep.
So that can be a bit, annoying, bit aggravating. I think, if she's has her hands in the right position before she unracks. Her hand just might be sliding a little bit. Again, it's a very strict rule. It has to be covering the entire ring, and so, if there is even a sliver of daylight that the head ref can see, that she's going to ask you to replace that bar.
That's right. Back up to the top of the order here. Second attempts on platform 1. For flight B, Bonnie Clausen's up next, 47.5 kilos.
Okay, if you were watching platform 2 earlier, we saw Nichelle come out and miss 100 kilos. She has actually elected to scratch her third attempt, and so it's just what you were talking about earlier. When you miss a lift and you feel like there's not much more to give, there's not really too much payout as far as coming back out and trying to attempt it again. And so she's going to get back, have a little bit more time to think about getting ready for deadlifts.
Good second attempt there for Bonnie. 3 white lights at 47.5 kilos. Jordan Selleck on platform 2, second attempt, 105 kilos, 231 pounds. Jordan Selleck hitting a solid wall there, but broke through well. Heidi Johnson, platform 1. Very smooth. Here's Anna Castano. Now, Anna Castano did miss that opener on strength. It's 231 pounds, just over body weight.
Okay.
Yep, so very possible it was just a misgroove.
Yeah, 3 white lights.
We are back, and we are on third attempts now for platform 2, flight B. Again, Nichelle Pena elected to scratch her last attempt, so she will not be coming out for a bench. Samantha Schubert, that was a good lift for Lori Hartle. Samantha Schubert's going to take 60 kilos up next. That's 132. We are closing into the end of our bench action here. So again, we're going to be taking a 10-minute break on each platform separately. Allow them time to set up and get ready for the deadlift.
Yeah, tough go there for Barbara.
Diana Hicks up next, going to retake 55 kilos. And getting the blocks put out for Sherry. She's going to take 65 kilos, 143 pounds. Sherry with a very close grip, hands almost on the smooth part of the bar here. There is a rule for maximum width, but there isn't a rule for minimum width.
Yeah, you can go as close as you would like.
Christine Dunn on platform 1, Amy Bogue on platform 2. Amy's looking to finish out her day. 3 for 3 on bench, 72.5 kilos. Christine Dunn, very strong off the chest there. Oh,
uneven
man,
lockout, but
talk about an uneven lockout.
I mean, I think she's going to be good, yeah. So there can be, some slight, imbalances with a person, depending on, one shoulder or one side of the body than the other. But as long as we, are on the path to locking out, That bar is not pivoting. We are good. Now, this is a very interesting jump here. You get a 5 kilo jump from the first to the second, and then a 7.5 to the third on platform 2. I'm interested to see if maybe there was a background reason as to why the first jump was smaller and they feel like it was resolved. But we'll have to see the lift first.
That was a no lift for Holly on platform 1. Sandra's up next, going to take the same weight at 154. Latanya,
Oh,
can she find her
wow.
way? Wow.
Wow, three white lights.
White lights. Talk about a bold strategy that played out. Excellent work there for Latanya. She's 6 for 6 on the day. Our only lifter in this flight to do so thus far.
Yeah, both times, she's made a bigger jump going from the second to the third than the first into the second. So that's not something you're really ever going to see, too often, at least not twice.
Here's Mindy Lunsford. Strong off the press there, but like we said, with that closer grip, you're going to get faster off the chest, but you're going to meet a heck of a wall when you get to the lockout. So good attempt there either way. Macy's going to come up next with 102.5. Andrea gets the press out very fast.
It's a very strong press. Three whites.
Sherry Nichols, she's going to be retaking 70 kilos.
Very strong attempt there for Macy. It's going to be 3 white lights.
Bar is loaded for Jacqueline Gregory, 231. Janine taking 72.5 kilos on platform 1. That's 159 pounds. Now, Jacqueline did miss this attempt on strength. Wouldn't be the first time we've seen someone come back from that, though. Unfortunately, not going to be the story for Jacqueline Gregory for bench there. She's still on the board with 100 kilos. Up next is Libby Horton. She's going to go and take the same weight at 105, going up 5 kilos from her second attempt. Erica Carlson, 90 kilos on the bar loaded for her. And then Alicia Webb up next with a monster 270 pounds. Hits the wall, Libby does. Can she break past it? Oh, yeah. She almost did there.
It's a tough fight there.
Here's Malaysia Taylor. She did get a replace command on her second attempt. So she timed out her second attempt, excuse me.
All right, so we just need to make sure that, the ring on both sides is completely covered by her hands.
And she did go up as well.
Yes.
Looking to try and get some of that back. Good attempt there for Erica on 1.
I think she's plenty strong enough for this. Yeah, that's what we see there.
Beautiful work. 3 white lights. It's a great way to come back there for Malaysia. And Jordan Selleck and Anna Castano all going to be taking the same weight, so our spotters and loaders get a little bit of a break as they finish out this flight. Both lifters taking their time getting set up. Jordan Selleck here, 237. Alicia Webb, 270.
Yeah, just hits the wall right there.
So does Miss Alicia, not able to get her way off the chest. And that's going to be a no lift. Alicia Webb coming from an equipped bench background, so she's very used to having that slow descent, very soft touch, very low touch. And with raw, it's a little bit harder to kind of get away with that. You don't have as much assistance. You don't have any assistance, really, because you're not wearing a suit. And so Alicia's strong enough to do both equipped and non-equipped bench. However, I think that attempt for the day might have just been a little bit too tough. Tried to touch a little bit lower, wasn't able to recoup from that. Bonnie Clausen up next, now on third attempts, taking 50 kilos. Then Anna Castano here, our last lifter on platform 2. And nothing doing there.
Yeah, had to fight to get that at 105 on her second attempt, and so, still elected to come out for that third. But, we're going to be looking forward to deadlifts here on platform 2. Everyone is finished up. So the spotters and loaders will get the platform ready, and they will take a 10-minute break.
We are on third attempts here for platform 1. Heidi Johnson's about to take her last attempt here at 60 kilos. 2.5 kilo jumps across the board. The minimum increment. Very predictable. Very strong press out there. That works. 3 white lights. Up next, Lori Hartle taking the same exact weight. Lori gets the start command.
Oh, yes. I think that's going to be a good lift. Yeah, Lori is 6 for 6 to start the day.
Starting to see a few more of those come around. Starting to see some good play calling from our handlers and good execution from our athletes. Samantha Schubert up next, 5 kilo increments across the board. A little bit larger jumps there, but still very predictable from that regard. Samantha gets the unrack here. And 3 white lights for a strong press out for Samantha Schubert, 6 for 6 on the day as well. Holly Hovermail going to retake 70 kilos, 154. Our next 3 lifters will be attempting that. Christine and Sherry going to do the same exact weight right after her. Strong press out.
Oh, wow.
And she gets to the lockout. Did the hip stay down? Did the heel stay down? 2 to 1. Yeah, they did.
1. Okay, we've got Christine. She is currently 5 for 5, looking to stay perfect as we look towards deadlifts.
Beautiful press, Christine Dunn. 2 white lights. Here's Sherry Duggins up next. Again, same weight. This is 154 pounds.
Where the hands of your blue power fans at? Oh yeah. 181 pounds is her weight. Good lift on 3.
Very close grip. So if we do hit a sticking point, we can imagine it'll be a little bit further off the chest here. Yep.
It's a very interesting setup, unracking with the feet on the bench.
Bars loaded for Sandra. Taking the minimum jump for her next attempt. Another good grab there again by the spotters and loaders. Sandra only going up the minimum increment to 72.5, so didn't lose a whole lot on the total there. You've got Sherry Nichols, Janine, Andrea, Erica, and Alicia Webb to round out this flight before we start our 10-minute break on platform 1.
Yeah, so Sherry had that initial issue, a bit of a, few small mistakes in her setup caused her to miss that opening attempt on strength. Okay, gets it back, so let's see if that can extend here. And it looks like it will. Let's see what the judges think.
I think that looked good from our angle.
Yeah, 3 white lights.
Janine Cascading up next, and this is an American record attempt. We've got our first American record attempt for this stream. Janine Cascading going to be taking a little bit more than the usual increment of 2.5 kilos. She's going to be going up 1 kilo, taking 73.5. This is 162.07 pounds. This is a national record attempt for the Masters 3 100 kilo class. Janine Cascading.
Yeah, we keep referring to 2.5 as the minimum increment. You are allowed to break that standard if you are attempting an American record in your weight class in the H division.
Here we go. Janine Cascading, slow to the descent.
She's up.
Big press out, and she's nodding on the way up. That is an American record. Oh yeah.
She's feeling it.
Talk about the confidence of knowing you're not even done with your bench press, and with a lift that's so positionally dependent. You're not even done with your bench, and you are shaking your head, nodding on the way up. Talk about confidence and strength.
I've never seen anyone showboat in the middle of the bench press. That's awesome. You feel it when you're on, and she knew she had it.
Hey, when you're on, you're on. Andrea Holka, 75 kilos for her. Folks, if we wait on platform 2, we got about 4 minutes left before we start our action of the deadlift over there. Andrea with the sink. Had to get a little bit of a longer press command. A little slow on the way up, but locks it out. Fists are up in celebration. And that's 3 white lights.
And she started 6 for 6, and so, her perfect streak is going to continue into deadlifts. I'm going to try to go for 9 for 9 here, and I think she's doing well in the standings. Yeah, she is in first place in her weight class and division.
Erica Carlson, yeah, that's not going to go. Looks like the heels came up a little bit. And when you see a more drastic position change like that, it's almost always going to be a little bit tougher to overcome and get the strength through.
Yeah, absolutely. And, as soon as those heels come up, it is a deadlift anyways, as far as the attempt goes.
That's right. Alicia Webb, last bench presser of session 1.
Missed it earlier off the chest. This is a very experienced lifter, and so we're going to see if maybe there's something that she can draw on, address anything that she thinks might have been wrong with the second attempt here.
This is 270 pounds. Multiple-time national champion Alicia Webb out of Georgia. And it's not going to go today, unfortunately. And that is going to be the end of our action for the bench press on platforms 1 and 2. Although we will be coming to begin our stream on platform 2 in just a few minutes. Or sorry, in just about a minute or so. So don't go anywhere. We're going to be switching over to platform 2 here in just a moment.
Let's give her a big round of applause. 265 pounds on that bar. Jenna on 3, Adrian on 4. All spotters, loaders, and judges, please make your way to platform 2. Spotters, loaders, and judges, please make your way to platform 2 in 1 minute until we start. Give her a big round of applause. Adrian Lockhart is in the house. All right, we're all set with the bench press on platform 4. They're going to start with deadlift. We're going to do deadlifting on platform 3, and we're about to get started on platform 4. Or excuse me, platform 2. Our lifter is 385 pounds. The first lifter on platform 2 is going to be Yard Lifter, 319 pounds. Ours loaded, here we go on platform 2.
All right, we are getting started here on platform 2. Yard is going to start us off with 145 kilos. She is currently 6 for 6. And I think she's going to keep this streak going through the deadlifts, and so very excited to see her lift.
And the party has started. The weight has hit the floor. For a lot of folks, deadlift is the most fun part of the meet, myself included. There's only one command you got to listen to, and that's the down command from the head referee.
I believe she's wearing, are those acorns?
I think those are faces.
Okay, faces.
I think those are faces on her socks.
Got very creative socks, which is always awesome to see. I love the sort of personality that people can find to put into their equipment. One thing that's special about the deadlift is compared to the bench and the squat, you don't necessarily have to be as tense, getting ready to, perform the lift. I think this is a little bit more freeing as far as, how you take to the platform and the way you execute your lift. So a lot of times you'll see lifters be a lot more expressive, in their body language, in the way they react to their lifts, and in the preparation for it as well.
Now for the deadlift, when the referee says bar is loaded, they do still have their 1 minute timer, but so long as the lifter shows they're initiating their pull, whether that be wedging into the bar, so bringing their hips down, starting to bring the bar off the floor, that will prohibit them from being timed out. And when we're looking at infractions here for the deadlift, the biggest one here is just making sure that we're fully locked out. That's going to be our red light. So that's making sure that our knees and our shoulders are fully behind the bar. Kathleen Eder, perfect example of that. Easy opener at 341. Another thing we're looking at for the deadlift is any up and downward motion. So if, just like with squat and bench, if that bar comes drops back down below its usual path, and that's going to be a no lift. If we see any ramping or hitching, so that's if once the bar gets past the knees, that's if the lifter uses their thighs to kind of support the bar through the rest of that lockout. That's going to be a blue card as well, and then your yellow card is going to be anything else.
The biggest thing visually that we need to look out for really is locking out those shoulders. From the front view, it can really look like a lifter has completed, every aspect of the lift that they're asked to do. But those shoulders can be finicky. Even seasoned lifters, very strong deadlifters. If you don't get your shoulders back behind the position of the bar when you're locked out, that is going to be a red light.
Good opener there for Angie. We're going to see a lot of good opening deadlifts here. Opening deadlifts are usually the easiest lift of the day.
And you want to make it easy as well. We've preached that every single time, we start a new session. But, for a lot of lifters, this is the most fatiguing lift that they're going to do during the meet, and it's the last one. And so you want to conserve your energy. Make sure you're not taking 3 heavy pulls.
Suzette Bradley. Now, in contrast, that did look a little bit tougher. It was still it was still fast, it was still smooth, but it did look a little bit tougher comparatively. And sometimes you do have those powerlifters that are just slower with their movements, and that's okay.
Yep, absolutely.
Here's Amanda taking 165 for her opener. Very smooth there. 363. That's a good lift there. Coming up next on platform 2, Elizabeth Bracey. I feel like I have to refer to her as Smashly. She has it on her singlet. 374 pounds. A little bit tough.
Yeah, that one looked very tough. We're going to see, so one thing that we, don't really have access to, in the broadcast is, sort of the conditions and the process that's going on in the warm-up room. It can be very chaotic in there. When everyone's trying to deadlift or, the session starts to move at different paces at different platforms, it can be hard to make sure you're warming up right. And so, sometimes you see these openers a little unexpected as far as how they move. It can be a bit finicky, but we're going to have to see how Elizabeth comes back, because that was a very tough opener.
Jennifer Schaefer, 175 kilos, 385 pounds, very fast off the floor.
Yeah, one thing I'll note as well, if you're watching at home and you're not very familiar with powerlifting, they do have baby powder on their thighs. It's going to help with the friction when they're going to lock out. And so, don't mistake that for chalk. It's here to reduce the friction. And you'll notice some of these lifters, they don't even have it on, and so that can be a factor in how these things are moving. Wow, that is a very hard attempt for Kelly. I think just all together today, all of her openers have been very tough.
She is on the board with that lift. I think I might have spoken too soon by saying we're going to see some fast openers.
Well, yeah, you never know sort of, what the expectations were for a lifter. I would love to, have the extra information. Did this person have a good prep? Was their travel to the meet, kind of safe, secure, and stress-free?
Good lift there for Amanda as she rounds out openers for Flight A on Platform 2. Yara's going to come up next and take 157.5.
Yeah, very nice jump after that opener.
That's a little bit closer to what we want to see for a second attempt. And we're getting towards the end of the meet here. Are you someone that would rather keep the consistency, or would you try to let it all out come deadlift?
You know, I think amongst the three lifts, this is where, you know, you really got to take in what the athlete's goals are. A lot of times, you know, the deadlift is almost its own event for a lot of lifters. They have a very special attachment to what they're going to go for. And, you know, for a lot of athletes, they'd rather really just go for a number they're shooting for, go for a position that might be out of reach. You know, they'd like that more than just going, you know, 3 for 3 and finishing out the meet with those lifts.
Bit of a shaky pull there for Stephanie Miller, 2-1. She did get a call probably for a slight ramp. And for folks at home, ramping is going to happen where, like I said, once you get past the knees on the pull, if the knees look like they're kind of coming back out from under the bar, if the lifter kind of leans back a good bit, that is considered a ramp, using the thighs as a ramp for the bar. However, she only got one call there, so she's still on the board. Janet Duncan, good lift as well with 162.5. And we have started our deadlifts on platform 1. Elizabeth Dudek starting off with 75 kilos, 165 pounds, really easy.
Very nice opener.
Good lift there for Catherine Eder. Seeing some very solid lifts here on platform 2. Although once we get a little bit heavier, once we got towards the end of the flight, started seeing some things shake up a little bit, so we'll see how the rest of the flight goes. Helen Adams on platform 1, 100 kilos.
Yeah, as we get a bit deeper here, I expect a lot more movement on the board. So very nice pull by Monica.
Helen there a little bit slow. Unfortunately, Helen, once again, not able to post a total for this meet as she was not able to get one of her squats on the board, so she is still finishing out the meet. Just not able to post a total for any awards or placings or anything. Just a reminder, all of our lifters today, the first place for all of our lifters in their class do receive $1,000. So they are playing for the big grand prize. Lynette Doyle, 3 white lights on platform 1. Angie, good second attempt there with 374 on platform 2. Suzette's going to take the same weight. Easy opener there for Debbie. Looked like she got a little bit of a bobble at the top, but still good. 3 light lights.
Very good there for Suzette. You know, you mentioned earlier that opener looked a bit hard, but I mean the second attempt looked, you know, to be the exact same speed, and so, you know, some people just have a different sort of strength curve as far as what we're going to see onto, you know, the bar speed. But yeah, we have a 22.5 kilo jump here for Julie. I mean, that's a 50-pound jump, ladies and gentlemen. Just about.
I believe she has her coach on her socks. Or whoever her handler is on her socks.
Wow.
Almost a 20 kilo, more than a 20 kilo jump. And she moved it very, very fast. 3 white lights. Good lift there for Sandy. Kelly's up next with 132.5.
She's wearing the A7 kit. Now, if you guys are looking for any lifting equipment, lifting apparel, or even lifestyle apparel, A7 is our presenting sponsor this weekend. They help out, you know, a lot of our lifters. They give us the equipment for our spars and loaders, and so, you know, we appreciate them. And again, if you're looking for any product, they got you covered.
There's a no lift there for Amanda on platform 2. Got pretty wobbly up at the top, and that does happen. Some lifters are just shaky as they lock out a deadlift. But looks like we got a little too wobbly. It might have got a little bit off balance. So we'll see if she's able to come back. It did put down to retake that for her third attempt. Alana Wright, good opener there. 297, thumbs up from her. And a good second attempt. Oh, no, not a good second attempt there for Kelly Parker. It looks like it didn't move.
Yeah, did it look like she just couldn't budge it off the floor?
I think so.
Yeah, I think. Okay, that's very interesting. We'll see if she comes out for it again. Sometimes with sumo, if you don't have the perfect positioning, it's going to be hard to bring it off the floor. But also, you got to be a little bit more patient. And so,
no lift there for Elizabeth Bracey.
yeah, we thought that opener was a bit heavy. They elected to take a 12.5 kilo jump,
which is pretty big.
Yeah. I mean, that crosses that 400 mark, and so, they could be one of those things where, her and her coach, they've decided on shooting for that milestone sort of number. If that's what you're here to do, and then I guess that's what's going to get loaded. But Elizabeth has actually scratched her third attempt, and so, they came here, kind of went for that attempt, and they feel, resolute and just kind of leaving it there, so.
And folks, now is a good time if you want to follow along to US LiftingCast, www.liftingcast/meets. Check out Masters Day 2. And with the deadlift is where we start to see folks start to play for placing a little bit more. Much different than the other power lifts. Deadlift is the only lift that you can change your attempt, and that's only on the third deadlift. And that's a very common thing to do as lifters are going for placings. You want to put a number on the board as a placeholder and make the lifter that you're competing against think you're going for something, and you might be going for something else, and then you could force the hand of the other lifter and force them to hit a lift and might miss, and that could bring you up. There's a whole lot of strategy that's involved with changing the deadlift attempt, but that is something that we will be watching out for, especially as these third attempts start to roll in. These placings start to get hammered out.
And if you aren't familiar with the concept of LiftingCast, this is essentially your companion app. It's your ESPN app. It's going to bring you every single attempt that these lifters have attempted and what they are looking to attempt next. So if you're interested, you're here watching for a specific person, specific group of people, it's a great way to just stay up to date with what's going on with them and track their progress through the meet. Okay, so Janet is on platform 2. She's looking to go 9 for 9 here with a 172.5 kilo pull. I think she's going to get this. We'll see. That's going to be 9 for 9, I think.
Yeah, currently in 6th. This put her into provisional 5th. And our top 3, so the winners of each class today do get a shot at Masters Worlds in Albany later on this year, and then the top 3 win some prize money. Stephanie Miller here had that tough go on the second attempt. Got a little too shaky and then got a little too bobbled once we got past the knees for the third, so no lift there.
Yeah, I wonder if that number was a PR because they did take a big jump.
Yeah, 155 to 160.
And then 12.5 after.
Elizabeth Dudek, platform 1. 3 white lights for her second attempt. Here's Angie. Masters 1 82.5 kilo class is pretty stacked. There's 13 lifters here. And that's not going to go there for Angie. She's going to finish out in 10th place. Helen Adams, good second attempt there at 107.5, 2 for 3. Or two white lights, 2 out of 3.
Kathleen's coming out. She's excited. She's waving to the crowd. This is going to give her a 9 for 9 day if she gets this lift right here, the final deadlift. Oh, yeah, you can hear her.
Oh, I wonder if there's a little bit of a hitch there.
We're going to see what the judges think. Yeah.
And it's a common thing when you see the bar kind of scoot up the legs like that. That's called a hitching. You're kind of picking the bar up and jolting it up the legs, and that's kind of similar to ramping, and that's going to be a no lift there. But a solid attempt regardless. 8 for 9 on the day. Here's Julie Cullen.
Yeah, Julie, after that monster jump. Oh my goodness, I think that was clean. Let's see.
I think it was. I'm going to give it to her. 2 to
Yeah,
1. Good
go.
lift.
Yeah, visually it can be pretty hard to, always see that trouble, that friction on the thigh, and you're gonna assume that it's gonna be called for ramping or
Lynette Doyle,
hitching.
big 20-kilo jump, able to stand it up a little bit slower than that opener, obviously, but 3 white lights for her. Amanda Andrews
Amanda
currently
is fighting
in
for
fourth.
it. Oh my goodness. Gets her right above her knees.
And that's not going to go. That was going to pull her ahead of Janet Duncan for fourth. Right now, here's Monica Beckham. She's got 180 loaded. 7.5 kilos behind Amanda Kirsten. Does not look like she's going to change her attempt at all to put herself ahead. If she makes this, she'll only be 2.5 kilos behind Amanda. But if she hits this and Amanda misses, Monica is your champion. Great call there. Alana Wright. Good lift, second attempt there. Here's Suzette Bradley, 180 kilos on the bar, bringing the energy
yeah.
for this last pull here.
She's hype.
This will pull her into fourth. Currently at 415, will add 10 kilos, giving her a 425 total ahead of Janet Duncan. 2.5 kilos ahead of her. And she stands it up. And the lift is good, 2 to 1. Big celebration there, Janet Duncan. Or sorry, Suzette Bradley pulling ahead of Janet Duncan by 2.5 kilos into fourth place. Kelly Newbert, platform 1, 145 kilos. Big 12.5 kilo jump there to 319 pounds. Kelly Parker here looking to retake 180. Nope, and it's not moving.
Yeah, just, very heavy attempts all day. I mean, she actually only got her opening weight across the lifts, and so I'm not sure if there was maybe an issue, outside of training and the actual meet itself, but just a really hard day. Obviously you still showed up, have a lot to reflect on, and you can always come back next year a lot stronger.
Brianna Green, slow to walk out, especially for that second attempt there. I can't imagine going to the third is going to be much more added on there. That's a good lift. Jennifer Schaefer,
She's fighting for it.
and this is going to keep her in third place.
All right, so we've got Amanda here. This poll, she's currently in second place in the 82.5 kilo Masters 1 division. If she makes this poll, she's going to pull into first place, so this is huge. This is for the national championship on platform 2. She's had a great meet. She's 8 for 8 so far. Can be a perfect day to win the national championship. Let's see. Oh, wow.
Ladies and gentlemen, your national champion for the Masters 1 ladies 82.5 kilo weight class, Amanda Kirsten. Congratulations to her with an excellent call across the board. Amanda Kirsten, 9 for 9 on the day, and that just goes to show you have to make your lifts. It doesn't matter what weight is on the bar. If you don't make the lift, it's not going to matter. You might as well have not have put it on there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Execution matters. The more you build, your total matters. In case in point, Amanda Kirsten coming away 2.5 kilos ahead of Monica Beckham and just 20 kilos ahead of Jennifer Schaefer for the top spot. Francesca Bill, easy second attempt there, 82.5 kilos. We're on to our second flight now of deadlifts on platform 2.
Francesca is currently in first place in the Masters 2, 82.5. See, and it looks like she is a good bit ahead of second place, and I don't really think second place is looking to contest, so, you know, we're going to get Francesca as your national champion in the Masters 2 division. She's going to take one more attempt, you know, a bit of a victory lap. So we'll congratulate her when she, you know, steps on the platform next.
The real battle here, though, is in that 82.5 kilo class, second through fourth, only separated by 5 kilos. We've got Julie Wilson, 377, and Kelly Newbert and Trina Scordo actually tied on total at the moment, 372.5 kilos. If they do match, Kelly Newbert would win second place on body weight. She did weigh in just a kilo lighter than Trina. Good attempt there for Trina. And that actually brought Trina up to 382, so now she is sat comfortably in second. Again, Francesca Bill still a little bit out of reach with a current total of 405, forecasted to have 415. Trina Scordo with the 185 attempt that she just put in would put her at 392. The battle still stands between Julie Wilson and Kelly Newbert, though, in third and fourth, only separated by 5 kilos.
In the meantime, we've got Latinea on platform 2. She's been perfect all day. Gonna look to extend that all the way through the meet and finish 9 for 9. Looks strong to start.
Beltless deadlifter, no less, can always respect it.
No, it's becoming more common.
Elizabeth Dudek coming up for her last attempt, 92.5 kilos. For the Masters 3, 82.5 kilo class. She will round out our class in 5th place today. Regardless, having a great day thus far. A little bit tough go on squat, coming back all the way through bench. And a celebration as we finish strong through deadlifts. 3 for 3, big celebration there. Here's Helen Adams up next. Unfortunately not able to post a total today, not having made a squat, but still looking to finish strong, 3 for 3 through bench, looking to keep that same momentum through deadlift. Jordan Selleck on platform 2, taking 352 for her opening deadlift. Helen Adams got past the knees. Looks like she kept the knees behind the bar the whole time.
Yeah, let's see what the judges think. 3 white lights, it's a great lift.
And that's a good way to finish out, a good way to bring back the momentum and change the narrative on what would otherwise have been a not great day.
Yeah. I mean, like we said, you know, you don't have to tell anyone
That's absolutely right.
that you bombed out. You know, just say you went 6 for 9, had a good end to the day. It just changes how you feel as well, you know. I mean, these ladies were squatting, you know, 2 hours ago. It's been a while since then. It's been a lot of lifting since then.
Debbie Noxon slow off the floor. The lockout is there. And here's Macy on platform 2. Easy opener there, 165. Here's Libby Horton. 167.5 for her opening attempt. Lynette Doyle in the Masters 3, 82.5. Currently sat in third. So put her 2.5 kilos behind Alana Wright. If Alana Wright misses, this would pull her into second. Can she finish the stand-up? Just past the knees there. And she's all right. Good grab there by back spotter Chris Leslie. Lynette will still finish out in fifth. Alana Wright in second. Sally Goldman is going to round out your first place for the Masters 3, 82.5 kilo class. Here's Nichelle Pena on platform 2, Masters 1, 100 kilos.
Yeah, smooth attempt. A bit slower at the lockout. She had a very tumultuous end to the bench press, and she also missed her third squat. So, going 3 for 3, that could be huge. I know she's trying to compete. She's in the mix for the first place title in the 100 kilo Masters 1 division. So we're gonna see how that shakes out here.
Jacqueline Gregory coming up next. Platform 2, 170. Here's Alana Wright bringing the energy once again, one last time. 308 pounds for 140 kilos. She's your silver medalist in the Masters 382.5 kilos, regardless of whether or not she stands up. And that's a solid attempt either way. All right, now we're starting to see the end of our Masters 2 82.5 kilo class starting to shake out. Sandy Birch sat comfortably in 5th place across the class. Malaysia Taylor over on platform 1, she's doing 190 kilos for her opener.
And that is going to bring Malaysia momentarily into first place. I think we're going to have a really, really good end to this 100 kilo battle on platform 2.
Kelly Newbert, 152.5 kilos loaded. This is going to keep her in 4th place. Clean lift either way. 3 white lights.
A very tough lift for Anna to start. She's going to move into first place. My only worry is that after a lift that heavy, I'm not sure how much room she has, to move around the board and respond to the competitors. I mean, if you told me that was the 3rd attempt, I would believe you.
And she had a rough go on bench, if I'm not mistaken, as well.
Yes.
So she's probably feeling a little bit of that fatigue coming into pulls here. Brianna Green, 162.5, is going to be in 5th place, regardless of this pull. Can she finish strong? She's almost at the lockout. She's almost there.
Almost there.
She's got to stay patient, and she does.
Well, I think that's going to be clean. Let's see what the judges think. Yeah, 2 white lights.
2-1. Excellent work. Julie Wilson up next. Going up 10 kilos. This is going to pull her into 3rd place from 4th. Diana Hicks, good lift over on platform 2. Smooth and strong. Julie Wilson, last attempt there. Your bronze medalist. Up next here, Francesca Bill. 177.5 kilos loaded for her. She's going to be essentially your slated gold medalist for the Masters 2 82.5 kilo class. Trina Scordo would have to put on over 200 kilos and change that attempt pretty quickly in order to make that happen. But that's just a little bit too out of reach there. Trina Scordo is probably going to look to finish out 8 for 9 on the day. Amy Bogue, platform 1. Bars getting loaded for her with 160. Francesca Bill, she knew it was coming up as soon as it came off the floor.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that is your national champion in the Masters Raw Masters 2 82.5 kilo division.
In that beautiful A7 Team USA singlet.
And Amy is fighting for this one.
Looks like Jordan Selleck decided to scratch the rest of her meet, so she's not going to come out for her second or third deadlift. She'll finish out with 160 on the day, and she is in 7th place, and will be your 7th place finisher for the Masters 1 100 kilo class. $15 kilo jump for Latanya.
Wow.
3 white lights. Trina Scordo here looking to finish out the Masters 2 82.5 class. 185 kilos on the bar, 407 pounds. Sorry. Yep, 407 pounds. Can she stand it up?
Oh, yeah.
And that is it. 3 white lights. Your silver medalist. Masters 2 class is going to be Francesca Bill, Trina Scordo, Julie Wilson, Kelly Newber, Brianna Green, and Sandy Birch. Solid second attempt there for Macy. 10 kilo jump gets 3 white lights. Sally Goldman, tough off the floor, gets to the knees.
Oh, wow.
And stands it up fast.
Yeah. That was a great pull, and I think if I'm hearing the platform correctly, that was a national record. It might be a total record, so congrats to Sally. She's also the national champion in the Masters 3 82.5 kilo division.
Libby Horton, good second attempt there. 3 white lights, and we're now to the top of the lineup on platform 1 for our last flight of deadlifting for session 1 here today.
Yeah. A lot of lifters in this flight and platform looking to go 9 for 9 here, so let's see if they can continue their perfect streaks.
Andrea Holka, that's going to be a good lift there. 3 white lights. Jacqueline Gregory over on platform 2. She's going to be doing 396 pounds. Jacqueline currently sat in 5th place at the moment. Up next, Nichelle Pena. Currently sat in 3rd place. Currently sat in 5th place. With this bench, we'll move into 3rd place. That's a solid jump as well. We stand it up well. That's going to be a good lift. Tough go on bench for Nichelle, so I imagine that knocked the chances a little bit, breaking into the gold and silver position. Up next, Malaysia Taylor. She is currently sat in 2nd and will stay in 2nd here.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting how well this moves. If I have to be honest, I think Anna Castano, who's currently in 1st place in that division, she doesn't have much room to go. And so if this moves well for Malaysia, I mean, she's got all the room in the world, all the opportunity to really pull into 1st with that last attempt.
And at the moment, both Malaysia and Nichelle have the same total. Right now, Malaysia would win on body weight.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's
there.
a smooth second. So let's
Uh-oh,
gonna need to
Malaysia might be
see-
on one today.
Gonna need to see how Anna does here on the second. They're only 7.5 kilos behind.
Okay, so with that, that brings Malaysia up 10 kilos. So now she is within 7.5 kilos of Anna Castano. We're really going to have to see how this deadlift moves before we can make any real predictions to that top three. Christine Dunn over on platform 1. We're still in our openers there. She's doing 125.
Oh, wow.
That's going to be tough. I didn't see anything that would inherently be up and down or ramping or anything like that. Okay, so 3 white lights there. That's a tough lockout. How much more do you think she has?
I mean, if I have to be honest, I'm not sure I could confidently say she's got another full attempt. The only thing I'll say is right now it doesn't look like Malaysia is going to go to usurp her in position, because that would have been a 12.5 kilo jump for Malaysia as well. So although I thought her second attempt was nice, I can see where they don't feel like, 12.5 kilos is there. So let's.
Okay, so they put in, looks like Anna put in 2.5 kilos up, so that's going to bring her total to 475.
Yes. She's sitting 475 currently in Malaysia. If she hits her third attempt, we'll go to 472.5. So it doesn't look like Malaysia is looking to, overtake Anna there.
And that if Malaysia were to try to make an attempt to overtake Anna, she'd have to add on at least another 5 kilos, and that would be a bit outside her normal jump. She did a 10-kilo jump from 190 to 200 from first to second attempt. She'd have to make a 15-kilo jump from 200 to 215 in order to match that total and beat Anna on body weight.
Right. So yeah, if at any point, up until the bar is loaded, they can make that decision to go for it. So, we'll see what they do. Maybe they're talking it over, just weighing out, what their actual goals are. But if it's something they want to go for, I mean, they are in the position to, have a crack at it.
It's going to be a no lift there for Diana on platform 2. We're getting into our third attempts here. We're going to start to see how this Masters 1 100 kilo class shakes out. Diana, by the way, currently third, but after later attempts go on in the flight, will probably finish out fourth for the Masters 3 90 kilo class. Sherry Doggins opening 135 kilos. And a no lift there for Mindy. Amy Bogue here, currently ninth, will stay there with this attempt here. Only way she can really move up in the placing is if Latanya misses her last pull, but Latanya's had a great day thus far, and her second attempt moved really well.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't imagine that will happen.
Yeah, they've just done a good job really managing her attempts. It's very nice to see it on the board, and obviously it's translating to a very, very nice performance.
I mean, same for Amy as well. Currently 7 for 8 on the day. If she makes this pull, will be 8 for 9, only missing that last squat.
Looks like she's going to fight for this.
Oh, that was
Just
close.
at the end, man.
Oh, good shot there for Amy Bogue. 3 red lights there, unfortunately. She will finish out in 9th place there. Here's Latanya. Erica Carlson, easy opener there, 314 pounds on platform 1. Alicia Webb coming up next with 385 pounds. 363 pounds. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong screen.
Yeah,
Here's
this would
Latanya,
just really
though.
Cap out a great day here on platform 2. Oh, yes.
One of our only lifters on the day to go 9 for 9, Latanya Cumberbatch. 3 white lights. And she'll finish out 8th in the Masters 1 100 kilo class. Alicia Webb, the veteran, the master, easy opener there. 363, 3 white lights. Can Macy get to lockout?
Right there at the end.
She gets there, but I don't think that's going to go. There was a good bit of up and down motion there.
Gonna see here. Yeah.
Yep.
It's always tough to lose it that way.
Again, Jim PR. I'm counting it.
Oh, absolutely.
Here's
For
Sherry
most
Nichols.
of the lifters here, this is not anybody's last meet ever, and so taking that as a sort of personal record and trying to build on that in the future, I mean it's one of the best things you can have walking away from a meet.
Here's Nichelle Pena going up 5 kilos, looking to stay in that third place spot. Hear the support for Nichelle in the back here.
Yeah, a lot of passionate fans and friends and family, and I think she heard them.
There it is. Two to one. That's a good lift for Nichelle Pena. She is your third place finisher, your bronze medalist for the Masters 100 kilo class. Here's Libby Horton up next. She's going to finish out 6th if she makes this pull. And does. Bonnie Clausen on platform 1, 135 kilos, 297 pounds. Stands it up. 3 white lights. Jacqueline Gregory up next. Currently in 5th. This will pull her into 4th, ahead of Macy.
She had a very nice deadlift session. See if she can cap it off with this pull.
Able to come back from a bit of a rough go on bench.
She's up.
She should get it
past the knees.
Almost. Very close there. Solid attempt to either way. She'll stay in 5th place. Up next, Miss Anna Castano.
Yeah, so currently she's in 1st place. It doesn't look like Malaysia is going to try to overtake her, regardless if she makes this attempt or not. So I won't, there's still time for Malaysia to, change the attempt. So, but as it stands right now, Anna is your national champion.
I was saying, depending on if Anna misses this, all Malaysia has to go down to is...
Let's see.
Or she just has to add 2.5 kilos to what she currently put on. And she did miss this, so there's always that possibility we can be making that attempt change. We're going to be waiting. We have all the way until bars loaded. And, we did make that attempt change.
Okay.
Malaysia Taylor
Here we go.
did add 2.5 kilos. This is going to pull her ahead of Anna Castano. If she wins this, she will win on body weight with a 475 kilo total. And this is exactly what we have been waiting for, folks. The party has started. The weight has hit the floor. Malaysia Taylor, let's see if she can execute. This will only be 2.5 kilos more than her prior jump. Not out of the realm of possibility for her. Again, this is for the gold medal for the Masters 100 kilo class. Not to be outdone real quick, Janine Cascaden, easy second attempt there on platform 1.
Okay, let's see it.
All right, Malaysia Taylor.
Oh, she's up. Oh, my goodness. Can she lock out?
That's lockout. Do the judges see anything wrong with the knees? Will she be your new national champion? Ladies and gentlemen, 2 white lights. Your new national champion with a masterful call. Masterful call.
And you got to think earlier when they missed that bench, they decided to go up 2.5 kilos. That ended up mattering at the end.
Again, folks, all that matters, you have to make your attempts, especially at a meet like this.
Oh, my gosh.
What a finish there. Malaysia Taylor coming right from behind to match the total and beat on body weight. Anna Castano still had a great day herself. Unfortunately, a bit of a rough go on bench, and that did open the door for Malaysia to come in and take that top spot. Yeah. Nichelle Pena is going to round out 3rd with a 457.5 kilo total. Macy and Jacqueline going to take the 4th and 5th spot.
And Sherry's feeling good.
Good save there by back
Oh.
spotter Chris Leslie. That's going to be a no lift, though. Blue lights, I imagine a little bit of ramping.
Yeah, we're gonna have to, if we had a replay, it looked to be a smooth pull. Maybe there was a bit of contact with the thigh that we didn't see there.
Here's Sandra, Masters 2 100 kilo class. We're into second attempts here. It's going to be a good lift for Sandra. Currently sat in 4th for the 100 kilo class. Up next, Samantha Schubert. She's currently sat in 2nd. 7 for 7 thus far on the day. We'll be looking to make that 8 for 8. Beautiful attempt there. Good call there, Sean. 10 kilos added onto the total. And that puts her just 10 kilos behind Andrea Holka.
Yeah, overall, this flight has been putting a lot of green on the board. Only one miss so far. I think we're setting up really well for a lot of exciting thirds.
Here's Erica Carlson. Looking to widen the gap between her and Sherry Doggins. There you go. 12.5 kilo jump. And that's going to be a good lift. We heard the shout from back here. Up next, Alicia Webb. Currently sat in first place by almost 100 kilos. That squat really set her apart from the rest of the crowd.
Oh, absolutely. And her bench as well.
She's going to be taking 177.5 here. Currently has a 472.5 kilo total. So now the battle shifts from Sherry Doggins and Sandra Juhala. There's a close battle going there for 3rd and 4th. Erica Carlson, good gap on either side there in 2nd place.
Yeah, that's a good pull.
3 white lights there for Alicia Webb. Going over to Sherry Nichols in the Masters 3 90 kilo class. And we are on to 3rd attempts, ladies and gentlemen. This is our last flight, our last round of deadlifting, our last lifters in session 1 for USA Powerlifting's Masters National Championships, presented by A7 here in Chicago, Illinois.
Got Sherry, relatively perfect day so far, only a slight hiccup on our opening bench. And I think she's going to finish strong.
Yep, and our podium here for the Masters 390 kilo class is pretty much set here. Sherry Nichols going to finish out in 2nd place. Christine Dunn sat pretty high up there in 1st place with a 142.5 forecasted deadlift, and Heidi Johnson in 3rd. And for the Masters 3 100 kilo class, Bonnie Clausen is going to round out the class in 5th. 267.5 kilo total.
She's up.
I love watching the spotters and loaders get into it almost as much as the audience does.
They truly are the biggest supporters of the lifters, the entire meet.
They're the only ones that are on the platform with them.
Okay, we've got Andrea. This is for 9 for 9. She's had a beautiful meet.
Yeah, let's take a second to give a shout out to the Masters 3 class for the 100s. There's only been 1 missed lift across all 5 ladies. Andrea Holka looking to keep the streak alive.
Okay, so this one's going to be a little iffy as far as the lockout goes. We're going to see what the judges think. Good lift.
There it is. Andrea Holka, your gold medalist in the Masters 3 100 kilo class. Decent gap from Samantha Schubert in 2nd, Janine Cascaden in 3rd.
Yeah, I don't want to jinx anyone, but only 1 miss so far on this whole platform.
Good pull there for Holly. 5 kilo jump to 308 pounds. Good lift. We are keeping the train a-rolling. Folks, I think we might see... You know what? I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to jinx it. The commentator curse is real. I'm not going to enact it today.
Yeah, I'm very thankful that Holly made that pull.
Here's Christine Dunn.
She's up a little uneven, but I think she's going to be able to lock out.
That's there. Sean Collins, great call for the last pull. 3 white lights. We're seeing it, folks. We've only got a few more lifters left in this flight. 8 lifters left, and then we will be done with our action for the day. Lori Hartle looking to keep her great day going.
Yep. This is for 9 for 9.
Coach B in the corner with masterful play calls across the day. Here's Lori. Masters 300 kilo class. This is going to pull her.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Oh, and she can do it. Squeeze, 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 squeeze.
Going to lock out.
Terrific. Absolutely terrific. Oh, is that a no lift? Oh, it's
But it looks like her coach is going to the jury.
And
we'll
that would be
here.
the
It's gonna be a
perfect
challenge.
opportunity to
Yeah,
go to the
it's going to
jury.
be a challenge here. We'll see, because
So-
she had a red and a blue. So if he can just overturn one of those calls, that could be a good play. Meantime, we're watching Heidi right now. Now, she had a very tumultuous start to the day and has been perfect ever since. Let's see if she can cap it off.
This is going to put her in
she's gonna
third
fight.
place
Oh my goodness.
for the podium.
Yeah, started 0 for 2 on squat and has been perfect since. And that's the best way you can respond to that sort of situation.
Here's Janine Cascaden. After an American record bench at 73.5 kilos. Looking to finish out her day. 8 for 9, 145 kilos on the bar, 319 pounds. Here we go, Janine Cascaden, Masters 3 100 kilo class. Regardless of whether or not she makes this, she will be in third place. Oh yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
I
she
love
knew
that.
It. She knew it.
I love that so much.
Oh, she is excited.
Oh man, what an attempt that was.
Okay, so we had Sherry coming up. She actually missed her second attempt. I believe it was a ramping call, and now she's elected to go up in weight. So let's see how this goes. Oh yeah, you can hear her. She's excited. Let's see how it goes. Yeah, that's 3 white
3
lights.
white lights, that's all hers. Your third place finisher in the Masters 2 class. Here's Samantha Schubert, Masters 3. Bar is loaded. This would be a second place finish for her. And we've got Sandra, Erica, and Alicia to round out the flight. Slower off the floor, gets to the knees, finds
Locks out those
lockout.
shoulders.
A little bit of a weird little shoulder shift there,
Yeah,
but
three
no rule
white
against
lights,
it.
Yeah,
3 white lights.
that's 9 for 9 as well.
Another masterful performance called by Sean Collins and the Sincere Powerlifting team. Here's Sandra. Looking to finish in 4th place today for the Masters 2 class. 336 pounds, gets past the knees. And we are at lockout, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Wow, we just keep seeing the good lifts come. And we've got 2 more lifts left, folks.
Oh yeah, she's fist bumping the spotters and loaders. She's excited. I love when you walk off the platform showing a lot of emotion, showing a lot of energy.
I also love when they show love to the spotters and loaders and the
Yes,
referees as well.
absolutely.
It's a courtesy act. It's a class act. You know, they've put in the work to be here. They're making sure that your competition is as smooth and efficient as possible. So it's always good to show recognition to those guys.
Yeah, absolutely. It's impossible to not build a bit of a relationship with them as you go through the entire meet.
Absolutely. Here's Erica Carlson, your silver medalist. Here we go. Again, Erica Carlson is your silver medalist currently. All she's got to do is make this pull. A little bit of up and downward motion. And she knew it too, yeah.
That's going to be a gym PR, but unfortunately it won't go on.
That's okay. She's still second place. And then last but not least, our final powerlifter of the day, Miss Alicia Webb out of Georgia. Taking 185 kilos, 407 pounds to round out session 1 of USA Powerlifting Masters Raw National Championships.
This is over 400 pounds, over 2 times her body weight. This is a big pull.
Alicia Webb for the big pull to finish out.
Oh my God, she's gonna fight. Oh my goodness.
And it's there. Alicia
close
Webb,
us out.
your national champion. Another notch added to the belt for Alicia Webb, the Georgia product. She is your Masters 2 100 kilo national champion. And that is going to be the end of all of our action for session 1 for USA Powerlifting Masters National Championships. We still have more powerlifting to go on for the rest of the day. We've got our men's Masters still to come later on this afternoon at 2 p.m., so be sure to tune back in for that. And we will see you all in just a little bit. My name is Nick Stevens.
My name is Tong Hong.
And it has been a pleasure getting to call this session with you all. We hope you have a great rest of your day. We'll see you soon.